Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Coming to you live from South Beach.
Yeah.
With DJ promoter Tyvis Powell and hip-hop mogul G. Bush.
Hey, man,
What is up with the drove today, guys?
I feel like I told y'all I was gonna put that stuff on today. You know, this is look. It's all.
Hey,
even plug me in.
Tell them what they got.
You know, this little Versace. You know, it's all about Versace.
2 buttons, 3 buttons down.
Yeah,
gold chain.
Tupac. You know, look, couple red bottoms, walking in blood. You know, look at that. Look.
He looks like the big guy from Cool Runnings right now.
Little boss stuff. If I had a stogie, it'd make the whole outfit even better.
You're right. G. Bush, who did your outfit?
Man, today, man, this is that Sean John up top. This is velvet too.
Ooh, that is.
This is crushed velvet. By the way, I got my Tokyo drift time machine on it there. It's so Asian. My wife got to translate what time I'm in. Crazy. I got the baguettes. These is the baguettes right there. And I got the,
is that baguette of bread?
Yeah, and I got the Sean.
Doubles his bread.
Yeah, so translate that. I got the Sean. I got the Sean Taylor mirror glasses on. They discontinued these after Sean Taylor. You can't even get this material. They just put that on, and of course
you look like a mob.
What you got on? What shoes you got on?
I got the retros. You know what I'm saying? Retro J's.
I'm just saying.
They ain't got these.
Listen,
they ain't got these.
All
right here.
All I'm gonna say is the shirt and shoes together. That's about $2,000 right there.
Man, it's all about how you.
Louis belt on, you know.
Hey, brother, it's about
$2,500 just for those 3 accessories.
It's all about how you put it together.
For anyone just joining who doesn't know what the hell's going on, why you guys are dressed.
So it's been a versus fashion show. It all started with the first episode where I wore these Jordans, and it was on from there. So what happened?
To put them on until he got into the studio.
Right.
Fresh out the box.
Fresh out the box,
then
wrapped in paper.
I said, well, you want to play this game?
Right.
Okay, let's play that game. So I ended up winning the shoe thing because I still, to this day, have not repeated shoes yet. And I still
now, to G. Bush's credit,
no, don't do that.
He's done 5 times the shows that you've done.
What he shouldn't have done, he shouldn't have said nothing. He shouldn't have said nothing. That's not my problem.
I got 5 times the Lisa's checks, right? And I'm big. You know how hard it is.
It's difficult to shop.
Get this big and this.
You know how much velvet this takes? How much velvet is that? That's a whole koala.
Yeah. Anyways, fast forward. He calls me out on social media about outfits.
Yes.
I said, I got some stuff for time. September come, I got something for you. So he started harassing me on Twitter, just sending me outfits and stuff.
Put that back.
So last week I said, let me throw something light at you. Put him with the Gucci gang. You know, came all Gucci'd out. You know, just something slight. But today I said, you know what? I'm gonna bow out. I'm gonna break it down so it forever be broke. You know.
You said your wife had some strong words.
Oh yeah. So I'm walking out the house today, and my wife goes, "You are so embarrassed." And I told her, I said, well, listen, just know that I'm your embarrassment. I love you, baby.
Does she watch every day?
She does tune in.
Now the thing is, with the internet, this is going to live forever.
Yeah, you know.
And you got to wear that for the entire show.
Draft day. You know, I feel like Dion, man.
These will live forever. I'll be back again Thursday and Friday.
You're kind of channeling your inner T.O. when he was crying about, that's my quarterback. That's my quarterback.
Are you going to take off those sunglasses or no?
Jacoby Brissett's my quarterback.
Unfortunately.
He's going to hit a couple of those throws.
Different kind of tears.
Yeah,
honestly, where did you get the Lord of the Rings wizard shoes, though?
Yeah.
Where did those come from? I really don't even know where you get them.
Isn't that Evil Dead?
I like them. I'm just asking.
Those are the Gandalfs.
Those like Air Gandalf?
So these are still red bottoms. These still Christian Louboutin.
Oh, sure.
Do you think he could find those at one of the resale stores?
No.
Probably not.
He might be able to get some paint and just paint the bottom of them.
Yeah,
Mike's not about that.
Yeah.
Well, you guys both look great.
Thank you.
You really do.
Also, we've got to get a check on Adam the Bull.
I'm feeling better today.
When we last saw you,
I will not be puking today.
I hope. Do you feel better?
I feel much better. I probably could have worked if I had to yesterday, but I was still feeling a little out of it yesterday morning.
Yeah.
And I said to Mike,
you slept 15 hours Monday.
So I went home. Yeah, I slept for like 3 hours. I got home, took this medication called Meclizine, which helps prevent.
Shout out Meclizine.
Yeah.
Don't take that.
I don't know why we're
No,
saying
it helps.
Ask your doctor
Yes.
for details.
Yes, don't just take it. It helps prevent the vertigo, which I sometimes get. I was worried I was getting a bout of vertigo,
that's
which I seem to get
awful.
once every year,
Yeah.
and I haven't gotten it in a while.
Good.
So I took that preventatively, and that just wiped me out. So I slept for 3 hours, then I was up for a couple hours, went back to sleep for another 3 hours, then slept 9 hours overnight.
Wow.
Slept 9 hours again last
So your
night.
batteries are recharged.
Yeah, I'm feeling better. Yeah!
Whoa.
There's our first grunt of the day, so we must be back.
He's going to be okay.
We are
Lots
glad
to
to
get
have
to.
you back.
Thank you.
We
Yes,
are glad
that was-
to have you back.
I did rewatch the scene of me throwing up on the air.
Yeah,
We all
That
did
was
a
funny.
lot. Yeah.
I watched the beginning yesterday when Mike attacked me viciously.
vicious.
True.
Before I get to you, McNuggets has a story he wants to tell.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, I want to give a shout out to Cade York. First AFC Special Teams Player of the Week since 2005. 2005.
First Browns?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Who was the last one, Phil?
First Browns player to do it.
It's good to finally see him getting some accolades.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gone from like this kicker that nobody really knew a lot about to Lethal Weapon 3.
I like that he's also got the I don't give a you-know-what mustache. He's like, I don't care that I'm wearing
Nah.
this ratty-looking
Yeah.
mustache.
I know.
Bleep you, I'm a great kicker.
Yeah,
Yep.
he wears it well.
Yeah.
He wears it well.
Yeah.
It's a nice lip sweater. What do you have?
Two things. First, we asked the YouTube chat who had a better outfit, G or Tyvis. We got 180 votes already.
We only keep our polls up for 45 seconds, as we learned on
180
Monday.
votes, though. 54% for Tyvis.
Of course.
I need to keep it up.
Listen. Even an old man will appreciate this,
we'll
man.
keep it up for the whole show.
Look like
It's
Tupac,
close.
baby. I'm back.
Yeah, we'll leave it up until our next poll comes up, which we'll do in a little bit. But
okay.
I do have to tell a quick story, though.
It's an aggressive
I can't
blouse.
have glasses on in the building.
Told you it was going.
Damn.
We
sound
didn't-
like-
had I known that, I'd have put the Versace shades on it. It would have really been over with.
What's your fashion story, Mike?
It has nothing to do with fashion.
Oh, never mind.
but I played basketball for the first time in 6 months last night. And two really quick things. Shout out to Matt and the Jesu Church over in University Heights for letting me
What up,
play.
Matt?
The what
But-
church?
Shout out Jesu Church
It's
and
Italian for
mescaline.
Jesus. That's it. Jesu. Italian
Jesu
for Jesus.
Church. Look at that.
I hadn't met these guys. I showed up, and when I walked in, he goes, "You're Mike from the show. I'm watching right now." And he literally had us on the phone right there
Nice.
watching us. So we
Wow.
spread to University Heights. That was cool.
You made his day.
He's a
Well, he
celebrity.
made my day by letting me play.
How did you find this place? Did you just walk into church gyms and
No,
hope
I
for
was
the
on
best?
an email chain somehow. It's
Okay.
kind of a long, confusing story. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
know
That's
who
all
I
right.
was
Appreciate
until I
it.
showed up. But second off, we had the Quell coming in on Friday. I haven't played in 6 months, but he's got no chance at a three-point shootout. I
Are
was
we
on
doing
fire
that this
last night.
Friday?
No, because I'm flying to Boston for a wedding, literally right after the show on Friday.
Oh, my. There's always an excuse
This is
here.
like
Yeah.
the most anticipated matchup that
I
will
know.
never
I
happen.
know.
Seems
No,
like you're running from
The
him.
most anticipated is you and me when I take you right over the fence. That's the one that everybody.
Well,
that
I'm gonna talk baseball
and
right
Jake
now.
and me and Jake Mooney.
So-
Get his
Oh,
comment.
my God.
Jake Mooney, I'm still
Straight
on you. Where you at?
Hey,
Tuh.
you've got no chance, number one,
With who?
against me.
Oh, please.
For the third straight year,
Please.
our Black Sox team lost in the championship round to a professional team, literally.
You shouldn't have taken the money for cheating. That's why you destined.
Exactly.
You're right. You're right.
Live and learn.
And they're always one-run games, two-run games, very close.
You know why you know
I
what you
came
need?
out in the seventh inning. We had a 6-2 lead.
You know what you need?
This team hadn't lost all year. We ended up losing 10-6.
Oh, the bullpen.
The bullpen just couldn't hold it down.
You guys had a Jose Mesa situation.
You need a reliable player to
It was
come
worse
in
than
there
that.
and
Yeah.
keep
Cody
things
Allen.
afloat.
How hard do you think you could pitch?
102.
I love you. That is, don't ever change.
Only a man wearing that shirt has that kind of
To
confidence.
quote the person nearest and
102,
dearest to your
easily.
heart, you're embarrassing.
Right.
I bet you I could get more hits off of you than you could get off of Jay.
You know what? He wouldn't be able to throw strikes.
You know what?
The
To
deal
be
is
honest-
you got to throw it in the strike
To
zone
be
for guys to get
honest,
hits.
I'm gonna be completely.
And that's a lot harder than he thinks.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you.
Please. Please.
I'm
About
sure
time.
he will.
I would throw the ball so fast past him, he wouldn't even know to swing.
Wouldn't even know.
That's how quick he'd be sitting there like, did he throw that? And it already been gone for
I'll
sure.
put my money on Bull.
Thank you.
Taking
Well,
not
part of it's
me,
because you're
but-
betting on yourself, really. But
Yeah. Well, I know he's not hitting.
That's
Here's
easy.
the thing. Here's the thing.
Easy money.
At my late stage in life, at 57 years old,
Yeah.
I do pitch to contact. Like I'm around the zone.
Yeah.
I don't walk guys ever.
Okay.
I haven't walked anybody in like 3 or 4 starts. I'll tell you this: you won't know what's coming. Between my fastball and my off-speed stuff, I'll just have you so off balance
He's a confident fella.
Just looking.
Wait a minute. Do you think Ken Griffey Jr. knew what was coming?
Let him work it out.
Yeah, we don't got that.
Aaron
When we do this,
Judge
please wear
knows
your
what's
baseball
coming?
hat backwards.
Yeah.
Like the kid. All right, it's 11:10.
Into the Browns.
Let's go.
We've just been bragging for 10 minutes.
Focus up.
Bo, you're up first on this one because we missed you yesterday when we talked. How does the Browns offense get over on the Jets defense?
Right.
Today, how will the Browns defense fare against the Jets' anemic offense? How do you see this playing out?
I think this is a fascinating matchup. Tyvus and I were talking about this before the show. The Jets have a very interesting offense. Their quarterback stinks, although Joe Flacco wasn't hideous last week, but he is what he is.
He was Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a very good quarterback at this point. Their offensive line is terrible.
Awful.
Terrible. However,
Abysmal.
they have a very interesting skill group package because I think they actually have a lot of really nice skill position players, but they have no stars. Like, you look at the Panthers, they had McCaffrey, a star, DJ Moore, a star. I know you guys like Robbie Anderson more than I do. I think he's okay. And then they had nothing really else at skill position.
No.
The Jets are different. They have no stars on offense, at least not yet.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of young players. But they've got much more depth than Carolina in terms of quality skill position players. They've got 3 or 4 good, solid receivers. They've got 2 really nice young running backs, and they got 2 decent tight ends. But none of them are stars, and the Browns have stars at the key positions to deal with them. And ultimately, the biggest difference is the Jets' O-line is going to get destroyed by the Browns' defensive line. And so I think their skill position players, who, again, I think are a little underrated, pretty good for the Jets, will not be able to take advantage of it because they won't have time.
To that point, if Flacco is forced to throw 50-plus times,
Yeah, they got no shot.
It's over with anyway.
It's just gonna be pin your ears back and let's go. Obviously, that was a result of what was going on in the game. When you fall behind a couple of scores early, you're throwing every play.
Yes.
If he throws 50 times, I think it's an easy Browns win.
But the Jets do have good receivers. Like, again, nobody that's a star.
Guys, right.
But they have good, like Corey Davis is a good wide receiver,
they
good
just
solid
don't have
player.
that breakthrough guy yet.
No, they don't.
He
Not
might be
yet.
on that roster, but we haven't seen it yet.
Right.
Ty.
Yeah.
Well, I think the same thing. I think it's going to have to come down to them running the ball because if you're asking Joe Flacco to pass block, I think they had an injured left tackle, so they're down to their 3rd string left tackle.
Yeah.
And you got to go up against Myles Garrett. Like, he's never going to have time to get rid of the ball. So it will be a lot of quick game, and it will have to be a lot of running the ball. I think you would have to give your offensive line a chance to be able to compete in this by running the ball. So if that doesn't happen and it turns into a big 7-on-7, the Browns is going to win by double-digit points because our secondary, I would put them up against anybody in the league. The way they handle everybody with Gnu, Martin, and Denzel, and then you got 2 safeties in the back. Those guys can check man-to-man for 60 plays if they needed to.
Yeah. Where's the spread right now?
6.
It hasn't moved?
As of this morning, it was still 6.
Okay. I expect it to move.
It was 6.5 when I was using the restroom this morning.
I expect it.
I guess it depends where you look.
Yeah, it does.
If you look in the restroom, it's 6.5.
I still think, before you guys jump in, I still think we got to realize, in the NFL, most games are close, right? There's not a ton of blowouts in the NFL.
Is close.
Typically a score.
Right? It's not like college where, like, when Ohio State plays Toledo, there's a huge difference in talent.
Right.
That's not the case in the NFL.
Arguable.
And Jacoby Brissett's not that good a quarterback.
Right.
So the Browns probably won't score a ton of points in any of these games.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting, to expect an easy win. I just don't think any of these are going to be easy.
If they have an easy win on their schedule,
it's this,
I honestly believe
yes,
this
would be the easiest on paper.
Mike?
I'm looking to the matchup, again, offensive line for the Jets. I'm looking to the Myles Garrett, George Fant matchup.
Oh, I played with him in Seattle.
He'll also be playing.
20 bands is
He'll
what
also
we
be
called
taking
it.
on rookie 4th-round pick Max Mitchell at right.
I don't know
So
him.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to that personally. And it's nice to see the Browns catching some breaks. We've had some times, I don't know if you guys have noticed this over the years, where things haven't bounced our way.
No.
And then you go to last week, and I was sitting there watching that, totally ready to watch that field goal miss and go home with a loss.
That's sad.
And so were all the Browns fans around me. All of us just had this sense of acknowledgement. We're just like, so this is how it happens. And then we made it.
It was too script all the way up to that.
It was 100%. This week we're playing against, not that the Jets were going to be great to begin with, but now we're playing against Joe Flacco. Flacco, who's 37 and pretty much shot. I mean, and we're playing against these rookie linemen, and that's a wonderful situation. Next game, looks like TJ Watt might be out. Not that I want that.
Right.
He will be.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
he's going to be out, but his second opinion said no surgery
Not the whole
needed.
season, but he's going to miss a while.
And I don't think he'll be the same playing with a partially torn back.
Totally. The larger point is, normally these are things that break against the Browns, and it is just interesting in this weirdest of weird years so far to see things for some reason breaking for the Browns. And I don't know, I'm not a big believer in fate or anything, but you got to acknowledge they're catching some breaks. Yeah. And I think facing this New York Jets line right now with Jacoby Brissett is one of the biggest breaks they've caught so far.
You know how they say, if in baseball they always say this, well, the baseball gods always have a way of paying it back.
Yeah.
If that's true, we're going to win the next 20 Super Bowls.
Right, we're due.
That's true in football.
The Browns are owed for a lot from the football gods.
We've never had the breaks go our
But
way.
here's the thing. Again, I don't believe in fate, but I do believe in math. And mathematically, you're correct. They're due. How many times, if you flip that quarter 1,000 times, eventually it's going to work out to 50-50? Well, we are about 3,000 flips due for that to land heads up. And maybe they'll all come this season and everything lines up.
I told Jimmy on the air Monday, I said, little quick math, and if the Browns can somehow win the next 19 season openers, they'll be at 500.
Exactly.
Wait,
and we'll call it even.
Yeah, then we'll call it even.
Wasn't it the Jets a couple of years ago where we lost our receivers or something?
Yeah, they had COVID.
That was last year.
No,
that was
2
years ago.
And then last year,
Right.
last year, their big win was against the Cincinnati Bengals, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can't count them out.
Yeah,
No,
never know.
you absolutely
count 'em
can't.
out.
G. Bush, how do you see this matchup? Similarly to these guys?
I see it in two facets. One, it's all about what you do on first down. If you can get it to a point where you can be 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 7, this game should be it's a cakewalk. Because when you look at what they have on the outside and you have at quarterback, you want to get them in predictable downs and distances, right? If I'm the Jets, I come out and I play action heavy on first down because I want to get ahead of the sticks. It's all about the sticks in this game. Because if you watch the Cleveland Browns, and they have similar rosters, I think the Browns have better skill positions, but when you look at it going against good teams with quarterbacks, the Browns won't have that advantage. So they get bogged down a little bit when you get to 5. So, you do a 2nd and 7, 3rd and 8. Ain't nothing in the playbook for them. Now you got to ask them to improvise and extend plays. That's not their strong suit. But what you think that is if you got rookies and unproven guys like Elijah Moore for the Jets and in a way worse offensive line. So when you're the Cleveland Browns, you actually want to challenge them in first down. If they want to go play action, they got to prove it to me. You got to prove that early and often because I want to get you 1-2 yard gains. And if we can get you down and on the other end of the football, we don't got to hit home runs every play, but the ones that's there, the wide open ones, to Kareem Hunt, you got to hit it. The wide open ones to Cooper, you got to hit it. I ain't even asking for the contested ones. If you can hit one out of the 2 of those and you can get up 10, you can get up 13 or 10 against the Jets might as well be 21.
Yeah.
Now they got to throw the
big
rock.
hole.
Now they got to throw.
That's what the Ravens did to them. I think their only touchdown against the Ravens was on their last drive of the game.
Yeah, it was in garbage.
And the backups were.
Yep.
In. So,
and by the way, guys, speaking of the defense, Tyvis before the show, is he doing this during the show, this breakdown?
Yeah, no, he's going to do it, but can I have the floor for 1 second?
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
here he goes.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but Myles Garrett got drug tested after last week.
Of course he did.
Possible steroids. The results came back. It's not steroids. He was just on so many Built Bars. That's why he's looking so. Yo,
That'll do
Myles
it.
Garrett, an official endorser of Built Bars, and he told me personally his
he's
favorite
not.
flavor is cookie dough chunk puffs, 15 grams
disclaimer,
of protein.
he's making this up.
Are we
Yes, this is all
using
fake.
Myles Garrett as a
Yeah, we can't do
spokesman
that,
through
Mike.
the
That's
show?
why I wanted to get that out there.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, he's making
I
this
was
up.
like, he didn't call me and tell me this. Not playing.
But yes,
I believe that.
And
yeah.
he's got that big contract, but even if you have a lot of money in the bank, you should still use the promo code LOCKDOWN15 for 15% off.
We got to
because
get a
guess who
graphic of Myles Garrett
doesn't
holding
want
one.
15% off? Nobody. We all want 15% off on Built Bar. That's Built.com. I got one question about Myles Garrett that I want to ask the panel, a real question, and then Tyvis, you're going to do your defensive
Well, hold on.
breakdown.
Before we get to that, because I don't think we finished, I just want to give some quick thoughts on how I think the Browns what I think about the Browns defense against
this is
the Ravens
related to that.
offense.
This is
Okay,
related to that.
go ahead.
Is Myles Garrett going to break the sack record this weekend for the Browns?
Well, that's
He
our
needs 2
next
sacks.
topic, actually. So we're moving on to that.
Just
Well,
get your
it's
money
all,
off.
it's all in the same
No,
vein.
I
Get
give.
your money
I
off.
give.
Get your
Is he
money
going to
off.
break the sack record this week? Because
Yes.
By the way, I heard you on the morning call this morning. You asked a very good question. Clay Matthews has like 62.
Right, well, that's ridiculous.
It is
way
ridiculous.
more than that.
And obviously, I think, where's Garrett? 60.5?
I'm right here.
60.5.
Okay, there it is. Okay, so here's the answer to your question as it was explained to me years ago.
Yeah.
You said, well, why don't they just go back and figure it out?
They have all these games on tape,
No, they don't. They don't have all the games on tape.
Well, not back in the day.
I think my dad does.
No, and not only that, they don't have. Now they keep obviously detailed play-by-play records for every game.
But they didn't.
They didn't.
Even when Clay Matthews played, it wasn't that long ago.
No, I know it doesn't
That's
seem
too
like it was that
bad.
long ago, but in the era that we've been watching football the last 25 years, you can find out how many blades of grass were knocked off a field during the game.
I feel like in baseball, Baseball Reference has been able to get stats from the 1800s.
Baseball, as being America's sport and being a stat-driven sport, the records are much better. But in baseball,
that's interesting.
I'm not sure that I think they had to go back and count complete games, because back in the day, everybody threw a complete game.
Right. It was So
it was easy, but
it's unfortunate they can't, because Clay Matthews really had probably over 100 sacks.
There were a lot of guys.
How many half
Deacon
sacks
Jones,
do you think he has?
Deacon Jones. There were a lot of guys that would, before a sack was an official stat in the NFL.
Shout out to I met Deacon Jones, man. You talk about him talking trash. He talked the best trash. He said, young fella, I had over 250 sacks. Before they was even counting, I had 250. I was like,
and he's probably right.
They used to call them quarterback interruptions.
Well, you could do anything. I mean, in those days, you could punch guys in the face in the middle of a play. I mean, it didn't matter.
That was when football was football.
It was crazy.
And it was nuts.
But still, I think Myles Garrett is going to break it, because I think he'll get another 2 this week. Guys.
I think he's going to tie it.
Ooh,
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah, I have. Right.
Because what's going to happen is you got a left tackle that's coming in that hasn't played. What are you going to do? You're going to give him some help. You're definitely going to have Uzomah chipping before he does any release. Yeah. It's going to slow him down, but Myles Garrett is a freak, so he's going to beat it one time.
Clowney might beat his record instead because they'll be so busy with Myles Garrett. Clowney might get 215 sacks.
1.5. I got 1.5.
I think not only I think he breaks the record, I think that he has an outside chance to break the all-time season single record. You look at the way this first 4 games are going to play out. You got this game against the Jets. Joe Flacco's a statue. Next week is Marcus Mariota. You can run into a lot of
Steelers
sacks.
next week.
Steelers and Mariota run around and get you a couple sacks, and all you got to do is get a couple -1s on him when he's scrambling. And then you got Mr. Trubisky and the Steelers, and they don't have a great offensive line.
Those are 4 bad offenses.
Those are 4 bad offenses. If he gets to 10 in 4 games, look out.
Yeah, it's definitely in his sights if that happens. Couple of things on Garrett. I know he was the highest-rated NFL player after Week 1, Pro Football Focus grades. I always look at that with a grain of salt. Just the eye test. I can't believe he was higher rated than Von Miller. Von Miller was a disruptive force in that first Bills game.
Yeah, of all the games I watched, and I've said this guy's overrated at times. I thought T.J. Watt was the best player.
I thought he was.
He was all over the place. He was killing the Bengals.
Oh, really?
He was. I got to give him credit.
I never thought I'd hear this from you.
Well, I'm honest about it. I give him credit. He was. I never said he was bad. I
noticed
he was overrated.
That's why I was surprised. Tyvus, what am I missing on the grades? Because here's how I grade
I
players.
thought Myles was really good too, but not as good as T.J. Watt.
But I grade by the eye test and the impact that a player is having on the game.
I mean, you got.
And Von Miller was Aaron Donald-esque.
I thought so too.
In the way he played in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
See, you got to. I look at it different, right? So even when you get T.J. Watt and you get Von Miller, there are times where they drop into coverage. Now, you may not say, okay, well, they're doing it. If you do that 15 times in a game and they play 60, 70 snaps, well, guess what? 15 times, that was a non-factor.
But it shouldn't count against a player's grade. Based on what he's asked to do on a given play, I always just say, does he do his job on that play?
Well, here's the thing. When you look at Myles Garrett and you talk about what he does on the run side of the game, it's not just about.
How many tackles did Myles finish with?
It's not just.
How many?
I don't know. 4. Well, how many you have? 4? It's not just about whether or not you get tackles as a defensive end.
Right.
It's do you collapse the pocket? It's do you control the offensive lineman so he can't move to the next level? Are you in the backfield? You gotta have good hand placement? Do you have a good pad level? All those things go into it where you can't really run the ball like you want to because he's consistently in his gap.
And I factor in things we're not necessarily looking at.
That's why I asked Tyvus, because Tyvus obviously is much more versed on how players grade out during film study. The other thing, I thought Parsons for the Cowboys played an incredible game. I mean, he was disruptive. He was in the backfield nonstop.
I don't know where he graded out.
I don't know, but I'm just bringing that up. I don't want to.
But what's funny,
I'm not
like
slamming Myles
and
Garrett,
like
I'm
on the
just surprised.
surface, you thought Patrick Mahomes had the best game of the week. That he had the 8th best PFF
Right,
grade.
I know.
Now
That
you don't
was-
want to overanalyze. Like that's PFF to me is a bigger deal on the season. Like how it's going over a season, not one individual game necessarily. But
here's I'll say this.
I look at both though, the micro and the macro.
Yeah.
But you also, one thing that people miss is you got to look at the all 22. If you just look at the regular side,
Right, you're missing stuff.
You're not understanding. Well, okay, I didn't really see that play, or I didn't see the totality of it.
I agree with that, particularly when you're talking about wide receivers, tight ends, corners, things that are happening deep in the secondary. But usually, until the ball is thrown, and then Myles' job for the most part is over, Myles is in the field of view for every defensive play that the Browns have. That's why, and I look at specifically at him for a lot of the plays. And I thought he did a great job. I'm not saying he didn't. I thought I saw Parsons was also very disruptive. For me, Von Miller was the bar for week 1. I just thought he was absolutely tremendous. Tyvis, you've been writing down on this whiteboard.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to break down the defensive breakdown that led to the 75-yard touchdown.
he's got 2 plays.
Oh, okay. You're going to do 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the Robbie Anderson one first.
Right.
So
and that was a breakdown.
Yeah,
clearly.
big communication error. So what happened is you got cover 3. The play that we called it in San Fran was called Boston Reno. Boston is cover 3. That's what it means to the whole thing. Reno is an adjustment. So in this set, they came out in a slot set. So if you look at it, if you look at the set,
This
right,
shirt's so distracting.
it's a don't pay attention to the shirt.
All right.
It's a nub side. So if there's no eligibles. So
Explain that because fans might not know what that
nub
is.
sides means that there's no eligibles outside of this tight end that's on the ball.
Yeah.
So that means it turns into a slot set. So now you check Reno. When you check Reno, this corner is is 5 yards back and outside of number 1. The strong safety is 10 yards off and outside of number 2. This free safety has the post, and this corner is man to man on this tight end.
So he's got everything on that side,
So he has
short
nothing
and
to do
deep.
with that. Okay. So the route that you got was you got a deep post from Robbie. You got a 10-yard out there. You got a chip block on Myles, and then you got a guy going to the flats here. So what happened is the problem, these two, corner and safety, so this is G-New, this is J3. The problem is you have to read number 2 and see if he's running a route under 10 yards. If it's
Now, when you say number 2, how you count?
So you count receivers outside in.
Yeah,
1,
okay.
2, 3. All the eligibles. 1, 2, 3. So number 2 is this Z right here. They're reading him to see if he goes under 10 yards. If it's a route under 10 yards, this corner is going to trigger on it and take it. J3 is going to take over the top. Well,
And you still have help over the top.
yeah,
with
he's
free
in the
safeties.
post.
Right.
He has nothing, no responsibilities.
And the
at all.
1 or the X is Robbie Anderson. The 2 or the Z is DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So what happened is he ran it at 10 yards and ran out, which is it's a gray area because it's like G-New's looking like, is that 9 yards? Is that 10 yards? So they both erred on the fact that we just going to jump him. And they left him wide open on
But
his
if you're going to
post.
make a mistake, don't you want to make the safe mistake?
always
They made the
supposed to-
risky
yeah.
mistake.
Right.
Now, Tyvis, don't most teams specify at what yard marker they want to take that out route, right?
Yeah, it's about 10 and under.
But it might be different in different schemes.
Right.
Yeah,
Different
It might
schemes,
be.
different scenarios. So
So
what
you're just
happened-
talking about your knowledge from the Niners
yeah.
defense.
So anyways, so they both jumped this and left Robbie Anderson. However, even though both of them messed up, Dale Pitt still should be here in this post.
That's
because
his area.
His responsibility on this is he's looking for this deep over route by number 2. If number 2 cancels himself out, his eyes should go to number 1, and it should have took him to this post. He got too locked in on Baker and let Baker scramble around that he didn't get enough depth, and Robbie Anderson ended up behind him.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
So in the end, 2 guys blew it on the play.
So what's going to probably happen is how we fixed it when I was in Seattle and San Fran is they made this, if it's a bubble, go. If it's something right now, go. If it's anything down the field, just play it out. Because it's too much of a gray area to figure out what distance this is. So if it has to be right now. If it's an arrow route or a bubble, the corner's going to trigger. If not, just play it.
Titus, I know everybody wants to circle that and say this was a defensive breakdown.
Yes.
What's amazing to me is that there are way more of those in the NFL. I mean,
it comes with chemistry. You got it. That's why the chemistry of it all.
Titus, in the beginning of that play, let's say it is 10 yards. Let's say they're going 10 yards.
Yeah.
Does John Johnson have to say to who was the corner on that outside?
Genu.
Oh, Genu. Does he say to him, "Hey, it's 35-yard line"? Does somebody scream out the specific yard line, or
no.
You know it, right? I mean,
Because typically, if I'm at 10 yards, if I'm at a safety and I'm at 10 yards,
you're lining up
that's
there?
where I'm at.
Okay.
Like if he breaks from, of course I'm gonna take a couple steps back, but if I know where I was standing, if he breaks there, that's mine.
so it's really spatial awareness,
Basically.
and it's happening in warp speed.
Yeah, it's all fast.
And that's why I'll be telling people when they be like, yo, they can make this guy a safety and make him a corner, or they can make a defensive end a linebacker. And I say you just can't do that because it's about learning space, like perception. 10 yards, they may say you need to be, your landmark is the hash mark at 10 yards. And you as a defensive lineman, you have no spatial recognition. You've never done that before. You don't know what that landmark looks like. So that's why a lot of people never get depth enough to cover certain routes.
when you're playing these positions that you used to play in, right? You used to, your body, it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? You do it all the time.
Yeah,
what's the word?
repetition.
Repetition.
Muscle memory.
Right?
Like,
Muscle memory. You just do it. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, so
This is the tight end
So this
play.
is the tight end play right here. So I got to break it down to y'all. So they're in cover 3 again. That's basically what they love to specialize in. So how do you beat cover 3? Well, you run 4 verticals because it puts the safety in a bind. Okay. So what happened is typically you would have this nickel would be a buzz player, and this safety, the strong safety, would carry the tight end. But you can't do that because this running back is gun near. So typically you run it gun far, you can do that. But when the running back is gun near, if he was to go out to the flats and he carries them, nobody has him.
No.
So they have to make a danger call. Boom, he makes the danger call to him, he relates it to him. Now he's the buzzer, this safety leans over here, and this nickel is the carry guy. Well, what happened was, I think it was Denzel that was running off the field or running on the field. It was obviously a tempo situation, and he's never played nickel before. He's an outside corner. So J3 is trying to tell him, carry that, and I'm going to have to lean back. Well, what happened is J3 got caught trying to tell him that they both ended up taking this guy. Del Pitt has to go respect to the flats, and this right here was wide
open.
And when you say the adjustment is when you're in gun far or near, and near is to the field, to the boundary.
When the running back is to the tight end.
Okay.
Far is when the running back is away from.
And
that.
you said danger call. Is that a hand sign? Is that
So danger for us was like this.
Okay.
So technically, if it's seam alert, so if it's gun far, he would say seam alert. So he'd tell the safety seam alert. That means I'm carrying mine, you lean that way. Well, if it's danger and the back is on this side and it's danger, you give him the danger call. Now he's the buzzer. He leans to him, and this nickel carries this.
Do we know how he ended up in that nickel situation and
It was
why that?
It was a tempo situation. So I think what happened was the play before, because Denzel was rotating. It was a couple of series where he wasn't in. So this had to be the series that he wasn't in the game. They got the first down or whatever. They went tempo, switched the personnel.
Oh, and caught us.
And caught us off guard. So he was caught running on the field.
They should be prepped for
But
that, though, right?
and you couldn't tell nobody to go to nickel because I'm sure Genu was all the way over here and he's the nickel. So he's like, you know what?
really,
just play nickel this round.
And there's a lot of people that don't understand that your technique and your rules change from boundary corner, field corner, and
It's a
nickel
big
corner.
difference. Big
It's just they just don't play defensive back.
Big difference.
One last question before we bring in Leroy. In the instant that it takes for a player to danger,
Yeah.
if he looks away in danger for 1 second,
And he didn't see it.
and it's a millisecond,
It's over.
it's a wrap.
Right.
Yep. So it'd be
I mean,
a big
that's
coverage
why I
bust.
say it's absolutely stunning to me, and it really drives home what great athletes these guys are. Not just physically, but also to process all this mentally, that we don't have breakdowns like this way more often.
Well,
it's incredible.
It comes with communication. It comes with chemistry. You know, when you get a group of guys that's played together for years, you kind of everybody can look at the formation and be like, oh, this is what this is. So everybody
sharing
should
the same
kinda
brand,
know
right?
what- you should all know. You look at the formation, you be like, the running back is to that side. Oh, it has to be dangerous.
That was
'cause he
great.
can't do
I mean, that was absolutely
You're not getting that
phenomenal.
stuff anywhere else.
We need to do more of that each week.
it. I got
And
any breakdown.
never
I got
thought
you.
about coaching, huh?
Me?
Yeah, no interest in that?
I did, actually. I had some interest, but it's a long story.
He'll get it. 2-hour days.
That's why.
No, it's not even that. It's the fact I went to try to do it at Ohio State,
Yeah.
and they didn't have any GA positions open for me.
Oh, I see.
So
I think you'd be excellent at it.
well, thank you.
And,
And he
and
can't
that's
wear
why,
Versace.
guys, when you think about it, like in the beginning of last year when there was so many new guys in that secondary,
it was a lot.
that's why they struggled.
Yeah, it was
sure.
a lot of
Right.
coach bust.
And they figured it out by the second half of the season because that communication
Right.
got a lot better.
And this last game, they played so well, but yeah, these two breakdowns led to two huge plays.
Yeah, but there are
but
also
they're
sometimes
small.
breakdowns that people don't take advantage of.
Absolutely.
That's the other thing. Like, how many times was
absolutely.
Amari Cooper?
Well,
just
that's
open,
exactly right. You
and you
could
just
al-
get lucky because Baker's trying to, or somebody, or either Jacoby Brissett or Baker is trying to throw it, and you're dependent upon them to see it and take advantage of
Yeah.
it. So
the
those
quarterback
breakdowns
has to
happen.
see it and then have the arm
The
to get
better
it.
the quarterback, the more often they're going to take advantage
You're
of that
absolutely
mistake.
right.
Yeah.
McNuggets, do you have a read before we bring in Leroy, or we just bring him in?
Well, let's bring him right in.
Leroy Hoard, we haven't talked to you since the opening week win.
Leroy,
so
I'm mad at you. Don't say nothing to me about
Whoa.
fantasy. I don't want to hear it.
Oh, did you-
I
did
don't
you-
want. I don't want to hear it.
I just have a question.
Nope. I don't
I
have
have
an
a
answer.
question.
Don't have an answer.
Why you dress like Craig's uncle next Friday?
Because I'm your Uncle Elroy. I don't care how you get it mine.
He said,
Craig's
I got Versace.
Yeah,
Smell it.
that's exactly what this is.
Versace.
It's Versace, baby.
You should smell it in here, Leroy.
Yeah.
He used half a bottle of Versace before he
No,
walked
that's
in the studio.
this cologne I got on is Bond number 9, Lafayette
No,
Street.
I got the Versace on today.
Kevin Versace.
Leroy, as a guy who used to beat up guys that tried to tackle you, you were a big bruising back. You must be. You must really appreciate a guy like Nick Chubb. This guy never goes down on the first tackle ever, and he always falls forward. Always. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, you hear me talk about the Browns, and I will say this every week. I don't care who your quarterback is. Your identity is running the football. And whatever you do, I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback, Tom Brady is your quarterback, it don't matter. It's starting with Nick Chubb. And that's just, look, sometimes you end up falling into the type of team you're going to be. Sometimes you end up falling into your identity. Accept it. Accept it.
Yeah, keep doing it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care who the quarterback is. We tend to make things so much about, and the quarterback is an important position. I'm not denying that. Okay? But sometimes guys get quarterbacks that have success and they start going away from their identity because the quarterback is having success. And then when you get in those crunch times, when you get in pressure situations, you have nothing to fall back on. So when I talk about this season and how this season's going to play out with Jacoby Brissett, be who you are and who you've been. And that should be able to carry you because you are excellent, not good, excellent at running the football and playing defense.
What you got to say about Dearness Johnson being a healthy scratch?
Look, it's gonna be one of those situations where it's not because he's not talented, but there's gonna be 5 or 6 guys on your team that are gonna rotate with that depending on who you play. And that's just the way it is. Sometimes it's a DB, sometimes it's, and you have to understand that those guys who play special teams are going to be the guys that going to seem to be active every week, even they don't play a lick of offense or defense. So a lot of it goes into that. But he is the third running back. And when you got a healthy Nick Chubb, you have a healthy Kareem Hunt, and you basically do one back, but now they're starting to use them both, right? Kind of that West Coast look with the 2 backs in the backfield. It's going to shorten his opportunities to be able to play. That's just how it is with, maybe 5 or 6 guys on every football team.
By the way, I think the rule's stupid, guys. I think all 53 should be allowed to play. And if one team has some injured guys, then bring up guys from the practice squad. It seems dumb. It's such a brutal sport. Like, why not let all 53 be eligible?
Here's the other thing. You paying them anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let them play.
You paying them anyway. It would really suck that you have, say, a quarterback that you drafted high, and he's not ready yet, so he's the third guy. And the two guys get hurt, and you got your first and second rounder holding the clipboard and can't play.
Right, it's dumb.
Right? Like, that's why you make those – right. It happens a lot. It happens more than you think. Because when guys
what's
get
the
hurt –
rationale behind it, Leroy? Like, why is that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I can't give any good reason why they couldn't have 53 guys play.
Think about this. Here's even what's more incredible. They've expanded the roster in every other way.
Right.
You can have more practice squad guys.
Yep.
You can have more guys in camp. You can have – why would you do all that knowing the injuries that take place and still keep the 46-man game day roster?
And Leroy,
it makes no sense.
One of the things that is most surprising to me is at some point this becomes a safety issue. Because if a player knows that he's got nobody behind him to come in and spell him, he's more likely to stay out there because the team needs him. And then you're likely to go ahead and injure yourself even more than you already are.
No, I ain't down. I ain't down with that.
You don't think guys that are already hurt that keep playing can't get more hurt?
I played every game to not come out. If you want me out, you better call me because I ain't just coming out.
that's my point, Leroy. But that's my point.
But it ain't got nothing to do with who's available.
Well, but let's just use it as an example. And this doesn't work in this scenario because you have one kicker. But the other night, Kansas City's kicker had a bad ankle. And
did you see the safety? He can kick.
Justin Reed.
Yeah, I know. It was unbelievable. I actually wanted to see him kick in a game. What was crazy was Butker came in there and kicked like a 55-yarder with a one-step approach.
Did he?
Yep.
One step. And so my point here is, and the kicker's a bad example. He's not going to come out. I'm the only guy that can kick the football. But he's doing it on a bad ankle. What if he, on a one-step approach where now you're changing everything for a kicker, what if he rolls his ankles, got a high ankle sprain, and he's out for 8 weeks? Again, not a good example because you don't have a backup kicker on the roster. But if you have...
You do. You do, but you don't. Everybody got somebody that you could get by with a couple of kicks.
Right, you do, but let's face it. I've seen teams say, screw it. I'm not letting the defensive end kick extra points. We're going to go for 2 every time.
Right.
My point is, Leroy, I just think it could be a safety issue down the line if a team, and I know players never ever want to come out, and I know you never wanted to come out, but if there's a player that's playing a position and he knows there is no next man up, I gotta go. And then further injures himself. To me, I would think that the players' union would say, We're 53 guys on the team, 53 guys are eligible to play. It's just dumb.
I think that they should do that, but as far as the injury thing, you're just playing football. Yeah. You ain't thinking about that stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like
injuries happen.
There's certain positions, I don't care what happened, you ain't coming out anyway.
That's
right.
So, Leroy, we see guys that do come out all the time. It happens all the time, guys come out of the game for injuries.
Well, you know what? Nick Chubb comes out of the game. You know why? Because Kareem Hunt is behind him.
Speaking of that, let's get to that. Let's get to, you said West Coast. You said when they got the West Coast thing going with 2 backs, I saw your face. Yep. You smiled a little bit. You felt like
with Rathman and Roger Craig.
Roger Craig, split backs. How'd you like how Stefanski used Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and what kind of wrinkles was you thinking about when you saw that game?
Think about this. You have probably 2 of the most unique backs in the league in that they both can carry the ball, they both can go out on pass routes, and they both can pass protect. Okay? So when you put those 2 guys in the backfield, they have no idea which way you're going to go. You would like to think, oh, they going with Nick Chubb. That's their horse. And then Kareem Hunt get the ball. You see what I'm saying? They fake it to Kareem Hunt, and Chubb goes in the flat. They fake it to Chubb, and Kareem goes in the flat and runs a little ISO route or something along those lines. So from that standpoint, it just expands, especially, again, think about this. Think about where your start point is. Your start point is running the football to give Jacoby Brissett as much space as possible to make plays. And when you do that, now you standing two backs in the backfield and the defense has no idea which way you're going to go. I mean, you saw Ty break it down, right? Throw another back in the game and watch all hell break loose. He's going to be like, danger! They're going to know what to do.
He sound like Mystical. Danger!
Right. No, but here's the deal. And to Tyvis's point about how they do things, for an offense, we have checks too. So our routes adjust based on single safety or double safety. Our routes on the outside adjust versus single safety or double safety. And so you got this game being played. And here's the thing. Here's what's so funny about defense. Because I heard Tyvis breaking that down. I heard him breaking it down. He said, you ride them until 10 yards. And I'm thinking, that's if the receiver run the right damn route. Because you know some receivers, as soon as they get a defender in their face, they break their route short. So it would suck to have a coverage breakdown because the receiver ran the wrong route.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's why I just said they gonna fix that. If it ain't right now, don't even worry about it.
Right. And not for nothing. But let's be clear. And you know, I always have this thing about defenders because they doing all that comical stuff back there. They got signals, they waving. If a guy moved, they panicking. Motion! They going crazy.
Leroy, it ain't nothing. Listen, it's easy when you line up, but when them pieces get to moving, it's a panic. Oh my goodness, what I got?
But here's the deal. From the offensive perspective, you go in motion and you look across the field and you see all them gyrations and all you doing is going to the other side and blocking. And you just laugh. You just laugh. They done changed their whole defense, and we got a run play going away. Right? Yeah. All we tried to see is if it's man coverage or not. That's it. You do a little motion, see what's happening, and then go about your day.
Yeah.
And y'all, oh my goodness. So, you know, I would say this. There's a lot of breakdowns in coverage. And it's simply for the things that Tyvis was talking about. They have so many rules, and the coaches will emphasize, how many yards? How many yards before you break this up? 10, coach. All right. And they sticklers on that. But football is a flowing thing. It's adjustments being made. Guess what? If it's 3rd and 7, you might cut that off at 8. If it's 3rd and 12, you might go that same route at 13 yards. We got rules too. I know you guys watching games, you hate when a receiver catch a ball. It's 3rd and 10 and he catch a 9-yard pass. You want to go out there and kick him in the butt.
Drive you nuts.
So there's adjustments to the same plays just because of football, and their rules are thrown all off because we play football.
Yep.
So it happens a lot. It happens because we don't know that one extra step that changes the coverage. We just know we trying to pick up a first. We trying to find an open spot. We trying to just, move the ball down the field. And they're stickler to these rules. It happens a lot. Now, here's the problem. As an offense, we're looking at a certain side of the ball. You are reading a certain man for coverage. So if he breaks that coverage and you looking at him, you could have a guy on the other side of the field running by himself and the quarterback not even looking that way. And so we look at the quarterback and say, why he hit that open receiver? Because he ain't looking over there. So it works both ways. Yeah. And it's amazing. when you watch a football game and you watch all these moving pieces, it is actually amazing that football can be played with all the things that could go wrong. And that's why when you get a chance, when Jacoby gets that chance to hit an open guy, you got to hit him.
You better hit him.
You have to.
Leroy,
you got to hit him for this reason, because it will take that defense when they go to the sideline, and they will change everything they do.
Amen.
Am I lying, Thomas?
No, you are 100%
No.
Am I lying?
That's true.
You're right.
And Leroy, to that point, obviously you're playing the Jets this week. The big talk in the offseason was the Browns wide receivers, right? There was a lot of concern about the wide receivers. Amari Cooper was open a number of times. Jacoby couldn't get him the ball. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I thought, had a nice game. Schwartz had that early drop, but he made a big catch on that final drive. Heading into the second game against the Jets defense that didn't play well. We don't expect it to be good. I know we want to be run first. I'm with you, especially with I know you say quarterback doesn't matter. I'm definitely with you with Jacoby, 100%. I get what you're saying. That's their personality, yes. But Jacoby's got to hit those guys when they're open, right? He's got to make those plays.
You're right. That is something you don't want to catch up to you. You got to show the league, and you got to show all these teams that if you slip and if you pay too much attention to the run, that we can beat you over the top. That's something that you have to make a point of getting through. And whether that means first play of the game, play action over the top. You got to let them know it's going to be one of those type of games where you're going to be guessing what we're going to do. Now, if you're having success running the ball, who cares, right?
Sure.
But here's the deal. I think that Jacoby's eyes need to be looking at the right area of the field at all times, because there was a couple of times where he identified the open receiver, but it made the throw much tougher because he was late. Yeah. You see what I mean? Yeah. And what happens is say if you have a guy deep down the field and you see that safety coming across because you took too long to get to it because you got some backside action, what Tyvus was talking about, right? That safety roll up on the safety on the Browns rolled up to the wrong side, and that tight end was going across the field, going up the field. If you wait and somebody has speed to catch up, then you feel you got to rush the throw. And what happens is the throw ends up sometimes being errant because he's trying to throw it too hard. He's not, he's not just putting it in the bread basket and just throwing a little teardrop. He got to rifle it because he waited too long. So I just want to know, when they watch film, is that one of the things that they have to kind of pay attention to? I don't know if that's the case, but to me, and we've all seen it, those open throws came a little bit late.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's why maybe they were off a little bit, because he waited so long he felt like he had to rush it.
What'd you make of David Njoku's production?
Look, I think as time goes on, he is going to be a more pivotal part of the offense.
We've heard that a lot.
Just with his ability and what he does and how he, is able to kind of control the middle of the field. I think that one of the reasons why Amari Cooper and Schwartz and Donovan Peoples-Jones was open was because a lot of times they were afraid to leave the middle of the field open.
And that's Njoku's face.
And so, right, you have to look at the big picture. See, we can all go back and look at, well, why didn't so-so have more catches? Why didn't so-so have more catches? Well, one, because you were controlling the line of scrimmage and you didn't have to throw it that much. But two, one of the reasons why Njoku didn't have that many targets was because the ball was going outside.
Right.
Now, if you complete those passes, you complete those two passes, we're having a totally different conversation.
You aren't kidding.
So instead of harping on who who's catching what, let's get those passes completed. And we're having a whole different conversation.
And how do you do that?
You
So
take
what's
those
going
two
on over there
passes,
this
you
week?
add another 70 yards to that. Now you're talking about, 230, 240 yards with 200 yards rushing. You had yourself a day offensively.
So what are they doing
So
to
I
fix
don't
it?
want to be. I'm going to be real hesitant in making two plays a determining factor of how people played.
How many times would you have Jacoby Brissett throw the ball this week?
I think his sweet spot is 20 to 25 times.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? You thinking you're gonna have, and here's what throws it off a little bit. They had so many plays, like they could try everything. Hey, we ran that play earlier. They tried the other one. Like they just had so many plays. The time of possession, everything was in their favor. But if you can run the football, and then here's the thing, Jacoby Brissett, I think he'll be better off with the play action and not having to just drop back and read a field.
Mm-hmm.
Give a little play fake, give you a little rollout, a 3/4 rollout. You're only reading one side of the field, right? You got a backside, and then you got the front side, and you work in the zones, short, medium, and deep, and you go from there. He can make those throws.
Leroy, is it?
But here's the deal. You got to be able to look, when they give you an opportunity for a big play, because here's what sucks when you're a fan of a football team. Doesn't it always seem like the other team don't miss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always seems like when you mess up a coverage, they don't miss.
Baker didn't miss.
So, and so I'm like, wow, we had some plays like that too when they busted the coverage and the ball was rolling on the turf. So they'll get better at that. Get better at that.
Leroy, is there anything that the Jets have on there offensively or defensively that you see as an issue that can cause issues for the Browns?
Offensively, they got some decent receivers. Okay, they really do. But you got questions about the quarterback, whether he can get it to him. So that's always going to be an issue. They're going to try to run the ball too. And I'm going to tell you what I would do. I don't care what team that I play for. If I'm facing Jadeveon Clowney, I'm facing Myles Garrett, basically what I would do is this. I'm going to run the ball up the middle. I'm going to double team one of your D tackles. And I'm going to see if they're going to keep trying to rush the passer. And I'm going to put pressure on them that way. You have to do it. You have to make Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney look up and not just know it's a pass play. Now, what changes that is when you stuff that run on first down, and now you're in second and third and long, now the table's set. The table's set. You'd already put yourself in that situation. So they're going to try to do whatever they can to avoid being in a passing situation. Also, don't be shocked if it's 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6, and instead of throwing it, they just run a little draw.
Why
They
not?
just run the football.
I mean, they had two
Don't be
backs.
shocked.
They had two backs
Right.
Sunday that averaged almost. I mean, Hunt was almost 5 yards a carry.
That's right.
And Chubb was well over.
Speaking of two backs.
Well, I'm talking about the Jets.
Look at
I'm
that.
talking
Leroy,
about the Jets.
we got to make you a two-back interview right here. Speaking of two backs.
Robert Smith, come on in, man.
Hey,
There he
what's
is.
up, everyone?
Now it's a party.
What's up?
What's going on, man? A lot of excitement
I think
with Miami, right?
Yeah. I think we did do a little two back. We did a little bit.
Yeah, we
time.
didn't do a whole lot of it, but man, I
did a little bit just to kind of keep them honest.
Yeah,
But I would say,
yeah.
I would look back at Robert and I say, hey, don't expect nothing great, big fella.
Hey, realistic expectations on what this block is going to look like, right? And hey, there are those road graders, and there are those guys that, hey, like the quarterback, I'm just going to get in this guy's way. You handle the rest, partner.
Yeah. Hey, you think a collision with the football was bad? Try being a lead blocker at 220 pounds against a guy that's 260.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, and then the coach will come to you and say, hey, we gonna run this lead play. We just keeping them honest. I say ain't nothing honest about me running up in there. But yeah, we did it a couple of times. We did
we had some third down stuff. Now, David Palmer was our normal third down guy, but we had some packages sometimes where we would be in there on third downs together too.
Hey, Robert, let me just grab it for a second. When Cade York goes to switch ahead to the last week's game, when Cade York goes to kick that field goal, with the whole history of the Browns in Week 1, were you thinking he was going to miss that kick?
Here's the like everything that led up to it too, right?
Yeah.
Like, all the mistakes. There's like penalties and just everything going on, and of course Baker, goes down and they're able to get that field goal. I mean, it seemed like absolute. There was no chance he was going to make that, and that's encouraging.
Robert, how about hitting the net? Hitting the net from 58.
Halfway
up. Just barely cross.
I mean, but that's, I don't want to say you never say that one game is a trend, right? But it's the first opening game or opening weekend win since 2004 or 2005. Yeah. But the way everything was shaping up in that game, I just know Browns fans everywhere were just like, well, of course, this is the way it's supposed to happen. So as much as and you're right, Leroy, like all those times you say, wait a minute, why does the opposing team never miss that open wide receiver? Like, why do they never miss those kicks? Well, the kick went through, and Cade York, I know there's been a lot of talk and celebration about the young man. I'm glad that he was able to come through in a big moment like that.
And you guys got to know that me and Robert are scarred by kickers.
Oh yeah.
Was it 98 or when Anderson missed?
Oh,
yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Y'all's team was cold back then. Y'all had
they were good. We all thought they were going to the Super Bowl.
Jake Reed, Randy Moss.
You guys were 15-1, I think, that year in the regular season.
Yeah, but the Falcons were good. The Falcons were a good team.
They were a good team, but
you had the plans ready.
They had a kicker that makes kicks.
But here's the thing. Gary had been, I think he was 37 for 37 that. He didn't miss one kick all year long. All year long. Yep. Well, it was a 37-yarder.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's a chippy for him.
We were up 27-20 at the time, and they have the cannons that go off when the field goals get made, and the damn cannon went off. It looked like they
premature celebration.
Hey, get him on the Zoom too. Get that kicker on the Zoom.
We get into the locker room. We get in the locker room. They're like banners, like congratulations, and
goodness,
they cut stuff down.
Hey, I played. How about this? You want to hear something crazy? I played in every NFL stadium except one.
Dang.
That year, the Super Bowl was in Miami, and I never played in Miami.
That's the only one you never played in?
No, I can see the fireworks from my house. So
that's brutal. Brutal.
I'm like, why? It's like I'm getting cursed.
That's hurt. Now,
that's the word. Man.
Now you're here with us.
What we talked about the kicking, right? So we talked about the kicker. Go through the emotions of seeing Baker Mayfield put 17 up. Like in that fourth quarter, because I was starting to get sick too. I was on the post game, and I'm looking around like, nah, this can't be it.
Can't happen.
This can't happen, bro. We can't do this.
You actually turned into a white dude.
I did. She touched my face.
Man, he's got no color right now.
But I keep saying this. That if you were that confident in Baker making those plays, he would still be a Brown. Why? Like, at some point, Baker gonna be Baker.
Yeah, it was just.
That's why he's not a Brown. That's why you look for a different quarterback. So, was I nervous? Yeah, because the worst thing. Look, the same thing happened to us in '98. We came out the second half, and we just say, the only thing we can't do is give up a big play. And I'll be damned as soon as that happened, 70 yards down the field.
Got him.
Right? So when it got to that crunch time for the Browns Sunday, I say, well, as long as they don't make give up a big play, we good, because it's taking them forever to move the ball.
Yep.
And lo and behold, 75 yards. I'm going to quit saying that. I'm not saying that no more. As long as. Nope. Not saying it.
The hex is off, Leroy.
Honest opinion, though. Honest opinion. What did you think? What did you think of that roughing penalty?
Ooh. It was kind of.
I've said this 10 times already. Look at the replay. It was helmet to helmet.
No, it wasn't.
Go look at the replay.
You're right. You're right. It was helmet to helmet. It wasn't forcible helmet to helmet. And they've said
that's the difference.
The officials have said this season that there's going to be an emphasis, and they're going to try and eliminate those roughing the passer penalties. And that was it was helmet to helmet in the technical sense. Like, I think their face might have touched.
Who was the referee? Tim Donahue?
I'm glad those refs waited a week.
I thought the roughing the passer earlier in the game on the Browns was a worse call.
That was. I thought so too.
Oh, you're talking about it was in the back of the was Brian?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Brian.
Like, how's he supposed to in midair not let all of his body weight land on the quarterback?
Yeah, but honestly, I don't buy it. Man, defensive lineman is agile. These guys jump through hoops. They do all types of matrix stuff. Don't tell me you
says
can't.
One of the greatest athletes in the world.
Don't tell me you can't hit the quarterback. He knows the ball's gone. Okay, he knows the ball's gone. We had a couple of these in the. I called the Commanders and Jaguars the other day. We had a couple of these in the game where quarterback gets rid of the ball. They come in, they hit him after the play. That's fine. They're going to give you a couple steps. You can hit him. You know damn well he doesn't have the ball anymore. Don't put your weight on him. That's really not that hard to do.
Not if you're the Matrix. Hey, Leroy, we got to let you go, man. We will talk to you again next week, bro. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, Leroy.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
I hope you lose your fantasy match.
Hey, Thomas. Hey, you didn't win in fantasy football. You can't wear that shirt. Robert, don't he looked like Craig Uncle.
Get the camera
you
off
can't
me.
Wear that shirt.
Hey, by the way,
you can't wear that shirt.
Leroy,
you need to wear a white T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's when what's the son in the Cosby Show made that Gordon Goutreau shirt or whatever that was.
Theo Huxtable.
Yeah. He made that. We got to look that somebody's got to look that shirt up from that show.
You know what? Y'all don't understand fashion.
That is a Theo Huxtable.
No,
it's a sweet shirt.
No, it's not.
Tag
This
team
is
right
Tupac
now, dog.
by itself.
First thing I thought when I saw it was the big guy from Cool Runnings. Remember the big guy with the bald head? He was badass, that guy, though.
Hey,
that's not an insult.
By the way, Chad, I gotta be winning by now. That tag team.
What's the poll at now?
It's
close. It's close.
Is it still going?
It's almost. We'll get the results at the end of the show.
No offense, G, I love you, but I would vote for Tyvus.
Thank you.
I would.
Robert, what did you think of the Buckeyes this week, man?
All right, guys, I'm out.
Just reset.
All right, Leroy.
Yeah.
Get it off.
Everybody stop picking on Tyvus, will you?
This is, listen, y'all just don't understand fashion. This right here is, I'm dripping right now. I'm dripping. Like, this is.
Robert, speaking of college football.
It's like the Maryland helmet, man. It's just like every
you got all that stuff going on with. That's so true.
Hey, there are pieces of it I love, man.
The shirt is phenomenal. You ain't even.
I like this shirt.
The tiger on the back, man. Hold on.
Certain sections of that shirt are really
That's a Las Vegas shirt.
Oh man, all I need is a stogie.
Can we get a split screen of Tyvus's shirt and the Maryland Terrapins?
That'd be tough.
No,
By the end of the show.
we're talking about the Buckeyes.
Let's talk a little Buckeyes here.
Speaking of the Buckeyes, Robert, I got people. So many people got mad at me on Twitter last week because I said that I'm honest. I wasn't going to watch the Buckeye game because they were playing a team that was not worthy of being on the field with them. And I didn't grow. I'm not a lover of college football. I watch it because of my job. And so I watch when the Buckeyes play games that matter. I've gotten into it. But where I grew up, nobody cared about college football where I grew up. So when Ohio State plays a team like Toledo or a team where they're a 40-point favorite, to me, it's not worth watching. I'd rather watch another game or frankly do something else. And people got so mad at me as if I was saying college football was the worst sport on the planet. I just don't want to watch blowouts. Like in the NFL, we almost never get a blowout. They're very rare, right? There's never a game in the NFL, even the most lopsided spreads, where you say the worst team can't beat the better team. Never. In college, even though we get these upsets once in a while.
Appalachian State,
I know.
Marshall over Notre Dame.
That's Marshall over Notre Dame is not it.
App State.
We had a lot of them this weekend, Bull.
This was the weekend for them.
But they're very Ohio. How many times has Ohio State lost to a team that they were more than a 5-touchdown favorite against? One set of 100,
the
one
Buckeyes
set of
don't
200. So I'm saying, like, if you want, I didn't tell others they couldn't watch the game. Do what you want. I'm just saying I'm not watching it. It's not, to me, it's not. This game's not worth watching either. But a lot of people feel differently, obviously. So
I didn't have a chance to watch it because we were running around doing things. There in DC for the game, but. If you're a college football fan, and more importantly, if you're the fan of a particular team, you don't care who they're playing. You don't care,
you watch.
What the spread is. You want to watch, and you're going to learn things. You're going to learn things every time you play somebody. And the biggest thing when you go into a game like this, is you want to see efficient play. You want to see mistake-free football, and certainly you didn't have that, really on either side of the ball. But I think again with Jackson Smith and Jigba being out, Julian Fleming being out, it was great to see Marvin Harrison have a good game. I know both of the running backs got a little bit of a chance to eat, but I think bend don't break on the defensive side of the ball. I think Burke had a rough day in particular. Covering on the outside, a couple of penalties. You get a little bit. In any game that you watch like this, and ultimately, you're Ohio State. You should be thinking about how does this team stack up nationally? How is this team going to make it to a Big Ten title? How does this team get itself into the playoffs? And that's what you want to see. But I thought there were some good things as well. Defensively, I think we're playing much better under Jim Knowles, much more disciplined. Hall had another good game. Eichenberg had another good game. So some positives out of it. But you always want to see them just go out and dominate. But the reality is it's just not always going to be that way. The other team, even though they may be Arkansas State with Butch Jones now, but they are capable of making plays, especially when you're not playing your best on every single play, which is impossible, quite frankly.
Robert, I had a fan come up to me, and he said that he was watching the Team Up North games, and he said that he's nervous that they will beat us again this year. Do you feel that way right now?
Well, you know what? I haven't watched their games as closely, but again, I think because in particular, I go back to Jackson Smith and Jigba and Julian Fleming. With those guys being out, I know Egbuka had a big game. Marvin Harrison had the big game. You can see the numbers right there, and I think that running game is getting better, and that line. The most important thing for the line is to have continuity, to have time together, make sure that they're seeing everything the same way, that they operate as a unit, because that's what happened in that game up, in the game against the team up north last year. Now those two edge guys are gone last year, but when I'm thinking about this team, that's what I want to see. I want to see that development of that offensive line. I want to see improvement on that defensive side of the ball, and I think we're going to have an improved defense. Offensive line, still a work in progress. Those guys are getting better, I think, but it just takes time. I'm not worried about it yet because that game's a long way away, and the team that you see, both from Ohio State and the team up north right now, they can look a lot different.
Robert, I'm going to tell you what. I've been watching, unlike Bull, I watch every single snap of college football. I try to watch as much NFL as I can. Like 2 days, I'm locked in the shed. Now, for me, in the shed, I'm just out there moving around, just watching stuff.
What's the go-to meal out in the shed?
Oh, whatever delivers. Grubhub. Sometimes I just go say, listen, I'm gonna do pizza. Just give me whatever you got on the menu. As long as I don't gotta move, I'm good. I'll tell you what, I'm seeing in real time the way the transfer portal is changing the game in real time. There's these games, and I know what Bull's saying, and he's saying that, usually Ohio State going to play 3 MAC schools, a Sun Belt team, and blow them out by 100. But not so much Ohio State. But when you start going Pac-12, you start going down to the Big 12 and other these games where you're starting to see these smaller teams. I'm seeing names transfer from Miami, transfer from Florida State, transfer from Michigan. These guys are getting ball players at these mid-major type schools, and mixed with the fact that they can probably get a couple guys and say, hey, you want to go to Ohio State and sit the bench? You can get some little money. But guess what? We got $3,000 for you over. We got $5,000 for you over here at old dealership or a bakery locally. I think in about 4 years, it might not happen now, but in about 4 years, when I saw Texas A&M, who said they had the best recruit class ever, looked like they wasn't giving Appalachian State nothing. They was taking it. I think this gonna change the game. What are your thoughts on the way people is transferring now?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. The transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, basically having the opportunity to buy players. Like we've kind of seen this. We've seen this happen. And our God, we all hated this day, and we probably remember this day, the day of the decision. LeBron James kind of kicked this thing off, right?
He did.
The way the teams have kind of rebuilt quickly, right? And now we've seen it in the NFL. Let's bring in Tom Brady. Let's bring in some defensive stars like Ndamukong Suh. Tampa Bay was able to do.
No, we saw it here. Let's bring in Deshaun Watson.
Well, you're absolutely right. But I'm saying who we saw it from first. You talk about Von Miller. You talk about bringing OBJ from Cleveland. Why is Cleveland always got to be on the bad side of it? But I guess the Deshaun Watson thing's supposed to be on the good side of it, and I know that there's other issues there as well. But yeah, I think it's the same thing in college. You look at Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams going out to USC. You see Jordan Addison transferring from Pitt going out to SC, and then saying he wasn't happy about the deal that he got. I don't know if they had promised him.
I don't know what kind of deal that was.
Hey, come on. Hey, we got this for you. We got that for you. What happened? And you can't really complain about it at that point. But I think it's a completely different game in a very real sense, in that you are going to have NIL having a huge impact. You are going to have the transfer portal having a huge impact. I just wonder if they're going to pull the reins in at any point, or they just say, "Hey, man, it's a wild, wild west. We're going to have a couple 20-team conferences now with a 12-team playoff. Who cares?" And just kind of let people do what they want to do. Is it better or worse? Maybe it's more exciting, but ultimately, for me, if guys aren't going to school and setting themselves up truly for the rest of their lives, then is it really better? I don't know. So we'll see how that part of it works out.
Mikey McNuggets has got the final question for you, Robert.
I got the last one here, Robert. After what we saw from C.J. Stroud on Saturday, 351 yards, 4 touchdowns, is he your early definitive Week 2 Heisman favorite?
Oh, geez. I'm sorry. I can't say that because I haven't looked at enough of the total numbers. I don't think he's done anything to hurt himself. I know that Bryce Young had 6 touchdowns in the first week. I haven't really been watching the numbers as closely because now I'm working the NFL, so I just kind of watch Ohio State and the biggest stories that I see out there. But Heisman in September, first couple of weeks, doesn't really matter. I think when you get into the meat of the schedule, especially when you talk about the big games towards the end of the year and then the championship games for the conferences, then you really start talking about Heisman. It's a little bit early, and I don't want to say it's a meaningless question, but he certainly hasn't done anything to hurt himself.
Got to ask you one more thing before you go about the Browns, Robert. What'd you think of how he used the running game last week, and what would you change going against the Jets?
Man, I wouldn't change a thing. And I'm telling you, the Jets have got some problems on the offensive line. They lose Becton at that tackle spot. Brown gets hurt. They put in a bunch of young cats, and you talk about sacks and pressures and hits. I mean, those guys, they got some real issues. So if you're the Browns, you just lean on that running game. And I was excited to see. I know that he's had the contract issues and talked about wanting the trade and everything like that, but I thought Kareem Hunt, getting the first couple of touchdowns in that one receiving, I thought it was tremendous. And Nick Chubb, man, I just can't get enough of seeing him run. It's just so much fun because he does it so effortlessly too. And I guess a lot of defensive backs when they're coming up to make that hit, it's that career decision. And do I really need to do this with a guy like Nick Chubb? But just the subtle hands combined with his power and the lateral movement. I mean, he's just so much fun to watch. I know they put the graphic up during the game. Among the top 5 all time. I think he might even be number 2 or number 3 all time on yards per carry. For players with more than 900 carries, and of course we know the great Jim Brown's on that list as well. But just so impressed with the way he runs. And if you've got a tool like that, an offensive line like that, rely on that. And as long as Jacoby Brissett is smart with the football as he was for the most part in that opening week, you got a recipe for some wins with that defense.
Thanks,
good.
Robert.
Robert, thanks a bunch, man. What game do you have this weekend?
We don't have a game this weekend. We have Atlanta at Seattle week 3, and it was fun to watch Geno in that game. Man.
No kidding.
Rebirth, right?
Yeah, looked great. Big win for Seattle, Pete Carroll, and the entire organization. And I know it had to kill Russell Wilson. Wasn't his fault, but man, they just unplugged themselves at the goal line all night long. Robert, have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you.
Go Bucks, man.
Thanks, Robert.
Go Bucks.
See you, Robert.
Robert Smith, are we going to do the internet reaction now, or you want to do the Joe Flacco, wrap up the Joe Flacco thing?
The internet reaction leads us right into Joe Flacco.
Okay,
so
let's
do that first. And
very
we'll
good.
get to you guys wrapping it up. And whenever we talk to the internet, it's brought to us by PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and signing bonuses. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more.
Shout out to PCC. You ain't got nothing?
I got nothing for you.
He's still recovering, everyone. He's still recovering.
I was actually working on something for my final take. To be honest, while you were
I'm
waiting.
doing homework.
This guy doing a PowerPoint on his phone.
Yeah.
We're going to get to our thoughts on Joe Flacco momentarily.
Yeah.
But we want to get to the internet's thoughts first, as Joe Flacco's had the Browns number throughout his career. So we asked the internet, does Joe Flacco scare you even a little bit as the Jets starting quarterback? And we got
That's a dumb
quite a
question.
gauntlet of answers here. Let's take the first one here, Anthony.
No offense.
This much?
Offense taken.
I'm shaking in my little space boots, so not very much.
I like that meme anyhow.
Let's take the next one.
Yeah.
If the year was 2013, then maybe, but the last time I checked, it's 2022, so no.
Even in
Next one.
2013, he was never a quarterback that scared anybody. Never.
Sick
Anthony,
Flacco
take the next one.
burns.
The elf logo scares me more than Joe Flacco.
Man, the elf logo took a beating.
Hey, leave-
I liked it.
I know, I love it.
Leave the elf logo alone.
Yeah, but
Nationally, they just don't get it.
Number
They
one,
don't
who
get it.
cares what the
They
national
didn't even
people
know
think?
what it was.
Because
It goes to the national
because
media.
the Browns have never really used it
No.
in any way.
Well, but if
It's-
you're going to slam something, at least go back and find the
But
history
they don't
of it.
care. Who cares what the national
Yeah,
media
you hear
thinks?
that, internet trolls?
It's awesome.
Do some research.
Yes. Especially
To be
before you
fair
slam
and
something.
balanced in your trolling.
I love it.
And get me the white helmet next year too. I need an alternate helmet. Why we gonna be?
I think a lot of teams are going to do that.
Get me to be progressive. I just need a couple of helmets and some alternates. You've worked on your uniforms. You got a middle. You got some stuff now, but do not bend and go backwards.
You know who I love that does? I know Oregon is known for that, but I think Ohio State, when they roll out their alternate uniforms,
Great.
Always.
Beautiful.
Always on point.
I like when the Cavs
like the
do
class.
alternate uniforms from every single year just to
Yeah.
sell them in the merch.
Sure.
And I'll get every one of them.
And I'm a
too.
dummy
Those are
too,
great.
especially
I
the
know.
creamsicles.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of
I'm like, I could
creamsicles,
use
too.
that 1994 Aquamarine Splash uniform.
that.
I know.
All right, let's wrap up Flacco because I don't think anybody's scared of him. I mean, I don't know. And to Bull's
He is
point,
17-3 against the Browns in his career, though, but obviously
Well,
a very
I thought it
different
was
team.
more
It's
than
irrelevant.
And he had an all-time
It's
great
irrelevant.
defense.
I mean, that's
20
irrelevant.
for all
Very
The question was embarrassing. That stat is embarrassing. Stop it, Mike.
He's so mad.
Hyperbole is back.
I'm glad to see Bull's feeling better.
Hey, don't.
It's going to be okay, folks.
Leave him alone for about 20 minutes. He's working on his final take. Crying out loud. How's the guy ever supposed to get anything done around here?
It better
Crying
be
out
good. it better be a great.
I should have
Jay,
been.
you start with this
I
then.
really should have been able to do it when Leroy gave one of his 7-minute answers.
Listen, I was working on my final take at that point too. Can we get? I know Leroy.
I smoked a cigarette during one of his pauses. I went outside.
He needs a pulpit. He needs some preacher garb behind him.
We'll send him that.
It's just.
He seamlessly
I've never seen a guy that can go 5 minutes uninterrupted and change topics himself 8 times.
I know plenty. My grandmother, she gets some stuff in it. She'll go for an hour on the phone.
We're not gonna really.
What's grandmother's drink?
Anything.
All right. Are we doing true or false? We are, right?
Yes.
Do we want to wrap up? Is there anything else to close the Jets with?
Nah,
or you guys all
look,
good?
Nothing else to
Bull's
say.
right.
Flacco
Flacco sucks.
stinks.
I will say, I mean, he completed 31 passes last week. That had
But
to
he
be.
threw like 60.
He did. He threw 59. He threw 59.
Listen, go ahead. The only thing I will say is that we are not a good enough team, obviously, to assume that weird things can't happen.
No,
Of course not.
I don't know what we would have seen anyone saw last week. We were just that field goal away from being 0-1.
Of course the Browns
and
can
being a terrible
lose,
team.
but
So
nobody's
I'm
going to
saying,
be
you're
scared
right,
of Flacco.
nobody is, but the history tells us
Hey.
that these things happen,
Let
so
me-
you
Sure.
can be scared of history.
I thought if the Browns proved it, you would get out of your fear.
Hold on.
Oh, it's
would
going to
think.
look.
No,
It took 50
no.
years to get him there. It's going to take that long to get him out.
I will say this, McNuggets. We just sat here and had Tyvus put on the board, writing stuff down about how you got different busts in the coverage. Listen, it only takes one person.
Yep.
That's why when you play defense, they say it's 11 people all on the same page.
That was 2 plays.
One person do the wrong thing, that's 7. So at the end of the day, we've seen this a lot. We've seen this the first week against Kansas City last year, and it was John Johnson and a couple other people. We've seen busts. We had 2 busts this game. That stuff has to get cleaned up because they got guys. Garrett Wilson is a ball player. They got guys that can catch the ball and go to the house too. The Browns are I think they can be an elite top 3 defense, but they have to lock in against teams that they're supposed to beat, and this is another opportunity to get better.
Haven't proven we're good enough yet to not be
Their top
allowed
3
to not be
picks are
scared
all
of it.
former first-round picks.
I'm going to know something.
So they do have talent at the skill positions. Again, not elite talent, but they have good talent.
I want a shutout. How do they bounce back from that, where everybody's looking at the defense and Joe Woods and what's going on there? You shut a team out.
I prefer that as well.
Yes, I do.
Right.
Make sure y'all watch the post-game show with my boys.
Oh, that's the way you pub.
They got it in
And
last
this week's
week.
will be much less stressful.
Yes.
No matter what happens, even if they lose a heartbreaker, it won't be like Bull walking a tightrope over a lake filled with sharks.
Wait a minute. So y'all did go live for the 2 minutes?
Yes.
So y'all watched the
Well, we were a
field
couple
goal.
of seconds late. We were having some
But
technical
so
issues,
y'all
but-
watched the field goal?
Yes,
Oh,
I-
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I wish I could have been on for
After the
that.
show, we could do it.
Okay,
We
we'll
got,
do
a
it
lot,
again.
we got a lot to get through. We only
Yeah,
have
let's
40
do it.
Let's do
minutes
true or
left, so.
false.
All right, Mike's never been in for true or false, so we got to school him up on
This
this.
is a good
Yeah,
one.
Mike, Polk, this is how it works. I'm going to give you a fact. You're going to say if it's true, it's true. And if you think it's false, you're going to say it's false.
Very
complicated.
complicated.
Can we write this
Can
down?
I guess the player?
Yeah, guess the player.
Is it a defensive player?
It is a defensive player.
Anthony
He's-
Walker.
No, but it's his linebacker cohort.
JOK.
Jeremiah
JOK.
Owusu.
It is JOK?
It is JOK.
Stab in the dark.
He was
Now, just for
already
the
saying
record,
it.
I know how to pronounce his name, but on the graphics they all say Joker for
That's fine.
obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So, are you guys ready to play the 5th edition of True or
Who
False?
won
We
last
have
week?
never had a
Oh,
two-time
Jay.
champ.
Look at
Let's
Jay.
just, go ahead. He got it. You
We
did
have
that.
never had a two-time champ. We
Please,
all have one win.
I need the belt back.
looking-
It would go
Pressure,
great
but
with my
everyone has one
outfit.
win.
Everybody has
Oh, no.
one.
I have to win. It goes great with my outfit.
It
so I
does.
have
I'll give
to
him
win.
that.
All right, here we go.
does go.
All right, let's get the music started, Steve. And let's take the first one. True or false? The Joker was Notre Dame's first unanimous All-American since Manti Te'o.
What order are we going in?
Whatever you want.
True.
I'm going to say true as well.
I'll go true.
He got the glasses.
I don't want y'all stealing my answers.
Got the Ray Charles going.
Poker face.
Is this how does the order normally go? Do you guys just wait each other out like
Just
this?
blurt it out.
I'm
But
going to go
some of
with
these
true.
guys take forever to make an answer.
True.
Well, I could really make that. I could really.
Boy, you can go down, man.
Yeah, that's false.
Drum roll, please. It is false.
Oh my
Quentin
goodness.
Nelson, boom,
I
was in
forgot all
between
about
Manti
Quentin
Te'o
Nelson.
And the defending champ is off and running.
But does he always do this thing where he waits and sees
No.
everyone else?
It goes.
No.
Rotate. We'll rotate.
Okay.
I just knew this one, and I didn't want to be first one to say it.
I forgot about Quentin Nelson.
Yeah.
He's like,
All right, what else we got?
number 2.
How many are there so we know how to
There's
pace
8.
ourselves? There's 8. Okay.
There's always 8, and we do a tiebreaker just in case. Number 2, true or false? Joker not only had D1 scholarship offers in football,
That's true.
he also had them in basketball.
Yeah, that's true.
he a hooper like that.
True.
Bull?
Why me? Why can't it be me? I went first last time.
This game's a disaster.
You did not win first.
Oh, you did. Divis did go first.
True.
I'm going to say false.
So wait, everybody else said true, and he said
3
false?
trues and a false.
There's 5 of us, and someone not answer. 4 trues and a false.
True. What the heck?
Man,
Let's
Bull,
see it.
Bull, you're in trouble.
Because it is true.
Oh.
4 false to 0-2, Jay 2-0, everyone else 1-1.
Ooh, I just needed to get that monkey
Okay,
off my back.
I'm back in it.
Number
You
3.
almost went false.
I
That's all you-
did.
that's all you needed.
I'm
Let's
back
take
in
it.
I've dropped a long way from when you guys were accusing me
back
of
in it.
cheating
True
the
or
first
false?
time.
Alkaline,
Joker
baby.
is an alkaline vegan.
What the hell does
What
that
is
even
that?
mean? What's an alkaline?
True.
He's a what?
Mike,
hell's
you
an
know about
alkaline?
all these
Alkaline.
vegan-
True. I'm gonna say true because
True. If y'all made that up, y'all good. Y'all some good liars.
I've never heard of
I've
that.
never.
I've heard of a vegan,
So-
but
so
not an
that's
alkaline.
two, but I've
So
never
does
heard of
that
alkaline.
mean he only drinks alkaline water?
They only use those kind of batteries. Actually, I
Can I
think.
Google
The
what an
alkaline
alkaline
vegans
vegan is?
No,
only
Steph,
eat
your
batteries.
phone.
No, you
all
cannot
they
look
eat.
up what an alkaline vegan is or is not.
D,
So,
I'm gonna say
I'm saying false.
I'll say true.
I'll say true. I don't know.
I'm saying false.
Jay?
I just can't imagine you guys would have just pulled that out of thin air.
That's what I'm saying too. But they would think that you would think that. And that's why they would do that.
You know.
I'm going false. That's not a thing.
Let's see. It's true. He's very,
Back
very
in it.
self-conscious of the
Back in
PhD
it.
levels he puts into his diet.
What
So
is-
not only is he vegan, he's very self-conscious of PhD. No acidity.
It's obnoxious. It's the first unlikable thing about JOK. Everything else.
No,
Lord,
the
Wait, what about the
first
fact that he went to Notre Dame?
the first unlikable thing about JOK is the 28 jersey. I cannot stand.
Oh, wait, that's perfect. We are actually, next question.
All right. Well, so wait. What's the standard? They all got 2 and I got 0. Is that it?
Correct. It's two and 1 across the board except you, Bull.
No. They all got 2. I think. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all
Oh,
have
okay.
2 wins, 1 loss, and you have 0
Oh, 2 and 1. Okay.
You
Okay.
ain't got one.
This is related to the jersey, as Tyvis mentioned. True or false? Joker wore number 6 at Notre Dame as a tribute to Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor wore 6.
False.
False. I'm about to say
He
false.
wore 56 at the NFL.
Oh, false.
I'll say true.
What did you say?
Jay, did you
Jay?
pick an answer?
I haven't mentioned yet.
False. G. Bush definitive.
Yeah, has anybody answered? Oh,
We all
said
said
true. We're
everybody
waiting on
did.
you.
What
Oh, everybody said false?
No, he
Except
said
for Mike.
true.
Mike said true.
This is.
I'm just trying to move.
We all said.
well, I'm trying to think what number he wore at North Carolina.
Well,
and I
That's
He
what
wore
I'm.
number 6 at Notre Dame. That is true. He wore number 6. at
No,
no, I'm
Lawrence
trying to
Taylor.
think what Lawrence Taylor. Why?
Y'all ain't got no
that's,
That's why I said, where did 6
All right, no.
Yeah,
come
I'm gonna
from?
say false. Lawrence Taylor was 56 in the NFL. And I can't remember what he was at North Carolina, but I don't think he was 28 because back then
I think it
you
was
had to go with positions and
I
numbers.
think it was
What's the
80
answer,
something.
Mike?
It's
So
80
Mike
something.
is the only one who said true?
yes.
And Mike is the only one who's wrong. It is false. He did not
Yeah,
wear.
I don't know.
Mike's
where-
not enjoying the game.
He should have said LeBron or something like that.
All right, let's keep it moving. Keep it
What's
moving.
the standings?
3-3, 2-3-1.
Yes.
I'm starting to get the
Tyvis,
hang of
G, and
it.
Jay have 3. Polk has 2.
I
Bull
gotta
has
get
1.
the
Okay, let's
belt.
take the next one.
All right, let's roll.
True or false? Joker originally committed to Duke before signing with Notre Dame.
Huh. I'll say
Jay, you have
false.
to answer one of these first.
Yeah, okay, I'll say I don't think that's true.
You answered that.
So I'm going false.
You answered that real tricky. I don't. It's false.
I'll go
Mike said
true.
false. Oh, I think he said false. Okay.
I'm going true.
Tyvis?
What was the question
He
again?
originally committed to
He
Duke.
originally committed to Duke before signing with Notre Dame.
False.
Now, you'd think it would be false because Duke is a lame-ass football school,
He's a hooper.
but
They did have some years.
he's a
that-
hooper, and he's a smart,
Can
really
we go-
smart guy. Duke's a
You,
tough school to get.
Tyvis
So is
concentrating in
I'm
his
going
single
true.
shot in the
I'm
shirt
going
is
true.
fantastic. Dude, look, you concentrating in that shirt in a single is fantastic. Look at that. Like,
Go ahead, Mike.
more of those.
Bull's reasoning was 100% correct. He just had the wrong school. He committed to Virginia. Not Duke. That was false.
That was a D-bag move on your part.
He set you up for that.
You
See,
did.
You know what they're doing? You started playing chess with those guys, and now they're playing chess too.
Yeah.
Now they're throwing you off.
I'm done in this one.
Yeah, you're out of it. If this was a skins game, it'd be 4-3.
You guys got 4-4-4. Let's
Jay,
go.
Ty, and G are all tied with 4 atop the
I
leaderboard.
need the belt.
Mike's at a miserable 2, and I'm at 1.
Okay.
All right, let's take the next one here. Joker took down Sam Darnold for his first collegiate sack in a 49-14 butt whooping over USC in 2017.
USC. Oh,
Yeah, no, it's collegiate
USC,
sack.
sorry.
Ultimate Collegiate Sports.
Yes, that,
They
I
beat
brought
us.
my end. That's my fault.
Took down Mikey McNuggets.
Well, I mean, I know that to be true.
Wow. He knows that.
Know it, too. I'm going to say false.
G. Bush, you want me to go or you want to go?
G. Bush looks like
he
Biggie
falling
Smalls
asleep?
in
Is he okay? He's weakened and burning over here.
Man, this is a tough one. I'm 2017.
I'm trying to figure out. I can't change my. Can I change my answer?
No.
No, what
I'm gonna go with true.
What are you guys?
I'm true.
I'm gonna go with true.
You're false.
I didn't pick yet.
Okay.
Oh,
Travis, were you true or
Oh
false?
my gosh.
False.
False.
It's false.
This is hilarious.
I can't remember.
Don't they usually
2017.
play Notre Dame and USC early in the season?
Yeah, that's why I'm.
Stop asking
So
questions
it
and
could-
answering questions. What's the matter with you guys?
Can I use my phone a friend?
No.
No. Denied.
I'm going to say true.
False.
And it is false. Yes! He did play in the game. He did not record a sack. That was his freshman year.
Wow.
Tyvus got 5,
I was
right?
in the lead now with 2 to go.
Whew. Okay, I can't blow this.
Is there 2 more or 1 more?
What?
Yeah, 2 more. You're right. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
there
take
better
it.
be 2
I'm just a
more.
wild card now,
this.
by the way, everybody.
True or false? Joker runs a youth football camp in Ghana.
False. That's not the right place. Again, wild card. Am I lying? Do I know? You guys don't know. You're looking at me trying
I'ma
to say, is he?
I'm
does
gonna
he
say
mean-
true.
I know.
True.
He does do that, but is it the right country?
True.
I know for a fact that it's not. I'm gonna say false.
False.
Wild card.
That's false, man. You
True,
can't just
true,
because he got an
true.
I'm gonna say
African.
true.
Just because he got an African name don't mean he
They
runs
don't
Exactly.
No,
It's a
he does.
racist question.
Let's see.
He
It is
does
a racist
False.
question.
No, he
Take it
does
back.
something
Let's
in
see
Ghana
it.
though.
Take it.
man.
And Tyvus takes a 1.
That's a.
Yeah, he won.
That's
I
a
thought he had a
2-point lead. Don't give me that
won.
belt.
He won.
It's a 2-point lead.
Ball
Tyvus.
game.
Corner.
He won.
Give it
Hand
up.
over the belt.
Give it up.
What is
Just
your
for fun.
understanding right now?
Right now.
Yes,
I think he's got
sir.
6 and I
Look
got
at
4.
Is
the
6
people's
and 1.
champ.
Bull
Six
is
and
3
Yes.
and 4.
Yes.
Just
Is
win.
4 and
Just
3.
win.
Look,
Just wins. Don't give the record. Just
Oh,
wins.
Tyvus has 2 wins. Everyone else has 1 except Polk. But this is his
people's
first.
eyebrow.
No. How many wins today? Just
If you
don't give our win-loss
smell what
record.
Tyvus is cooking,
Just
baby.
give the wins.
Let's stop the
Wins in
music
what?
first.
Forget
One
it.
more
6,
question.
He's got
3, 4,
4,
2.
2.
All right, I want to finish tied for second, so we still got something to
And
play
we have
for.
the last one. Let's take it, Steve.
Man.
He won.
True or false? Joker's favorite athlete growing up
Oh,
is
that's true.
Allen
That's
Iverson.
100% true. That's 100% true. I might be right. I don't know. That's 100% true.
I can't believe you fell for his shenanigans.
I know I can't either. Honestly,
No, I literally just
he's
read.
too good at lying.
I
That's
read
right.
like maybe 2 weeks, a week or two ago that he did something in Ghana, and that's all.
I'm gonna go with
Well,
false.
I should
I'ma
have
go with
followed
false.
you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
I-
false.
What you got to do is watch out
It doesn't.
for the wild card.
What I'm
Which
gonna-
camera is it?
what-
Watch out for the wild card.
False.
True or false?
Oh, it's true.
False.
Put the camera on me. It doesn't matter.
You got to answer.
That's
You got to answer.
Don't matter. Don't care. What?
Well, you got to
don't
give an
care.
answer though.
Come on.
True.
I'll say false.
Oh, bull.
Let's see it.
It's absolutely true.
It is true. They're from high school.
They're from like the Virginia Beach
Bethel
area.
High School, same high school.
Yep.
So for the final record, Polk
I just want to thank
and
my
Bull
mom.
tied with 3 each.
First of all, I want to thank God. You know, thank God. Give it up to God.
Thanks, Versace.
Thank you, Versace.
Thank the wild card.
Versace. F-O.
Versace.
Versace.
Hey, baby. I know you watching. Love you.
I didn't
Try
think
not to embarrass you.
The one thing that can make that shirt gaudier is that wrestling belt on top of it.
I'm the people's champ now. We got to get G. Bush name scratched off of here. They got to say the people, just T. Powell,
Man,
The Rock.
it's engraved in the hearts of the people. Doesn't matter.
This is great. This is
All
great.
right, congratulations,
I'm very
Ty. This is the
frustrated
first
by that.
two-time winner of True or False.
And let's tell
Good
him
job.
what he's won. He's won a
Dominated.
lifetime award of ramen noodle seasoning packets.
Not bad.
Beef and shrimp.
I tell you right now,
I love ramen noodles.
Good flavor.
But you just
got to
get the
lick the
seasoning
inside
packets.
of the bag.
Just the packets, no
Just the,
noodles?
no noodles,
That's
just the
fine.
You
packets.
guys make them on the hot pot at college?
Yes, hell
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I did.
yeah.
I did
the only thing I can
microwave
cook
and
to this
hot
day.
pot.
I still have ramen.
I
I'll
still
do
got
ramen
everybody
now and
got
Now you do it on
ramen.
the stove, right? Instead of the hot pot?
then. Yeah.
You can
Oh,
do
yeah.
it, do it on
There's
the
no-
stove, do
there's-
it in the
I had a hot pot.
microwave.
There's no way that you can make the ramen noodles the same way every time.
I agree.
You got a little bit.
You put
got a
little
little something.
You put a little butter on
Yeah,
yours.
I got a little Mrs. Dash on mine. And make it
Huge
like,
soy sauce fan.
Yeah,
I'm a-
see,
love
look, see,
soy
it's,
sauce.
it's all different. Hey, ramen noodles, we'll take that sponsorship. Holla at your boy.
Or the generic Aldi off-brand version. We're open to that as well. We're not
Did you
picky.
guys- by the way, did you guys see Donovan Mitchell fly into town? Mike, did you
Yes.
guys see it?
Yeah.
Oh, we literally watched it this morning from the office. We could see it right outside, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he was wearing a Browns hat when he walked in. He's already initiating himself with the Cleveland fan base.
Now, by
He
the way,
understood the assignment.
Gets us.
Abby Mueller, I think is her name. She is getting on, like she had this thing on social media with Richard Jefferson. I don't know, what is her story? Is she trying to be the next, what's that woman that does all the videos with the football teams? What the hell's her name? She's become like a viral sensation.
Annie Agar.
Yes, and now she's on the field for everything.
Yeah.
And I think Abby's like our local Annie Agar. I think she's trying to become
good
the
for
next
her.
one.
She in the building?
About to say,
Right, Richard Jefferson did a funny video where he like makes fun of her a little bit, but it was really good. Like she was fangirling him or whatever. I don't know.
He's
But
good at
anyway,
that stuff.
She
it's
blowing-
funny that
she's
she ended
blowing
up.
up.
She's blowing up.
You love to see
Before
it.
Yeah.
we move on, is your final take ready to go?
You're hilarious. You got to quit
I'm
that.
set.
Okay, we can proceed. I just wanted to make sure.
Had to get him some more time.
I just wanted to make sure he's got it all
better-
lined up.
it's-
Dan, this better be good,
Listen,
Bull.
it's
You're gonna
make you-
appreciate it,
it's
I'll tell
gonna
you that.
tear-
I hope so.
We're going to tear up when he does. It's going to be that beautiful.
You know what? Jason's yesterday was phenomenal.
Oh, I got to go back
Anthony,
and
did you
watch
get
it.
my text? Are you going to be able to use that picture?
He got
All right,
pictures of
there you go.
everything.
We're
Oh,
good.
this is.
He's got AV. He's
mess
got
around.
music.
Can he go
Bringing in an
last?
overhead projector.
Can he? I don't want to follow
gosh.
up with every
No, you know what? You're right. It's almost like there's so much build-up to this final take. It's almost like you should
It's
go
not
last.
worthy of this much of a build-up, I'll be honest. But I do think
I don't want to
you-
follow it.
I think you guys will appreciate it, but it's not worthy of that much of a
All
build-up.
right,
Do you know what is
Yeah.
worthy of some build-up, though?
What?
Donovan Mitchell's introductory press conference.
I thought
today,
I
2
did.
o'clock.
Yes.
already did the transition. To
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, no?
We
Well,
started.
we got
It
off
was
Chapter.
Then I off track.
Annie Agar.
What do you want to hear him
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, really. What
What do you want from Donovan Mitchell today? I know what I want.
I don't really care what he says,
don't?
honestly.
Doesn't matter?
The only thing, like, I guess you want to feel like he wants to be here.
Yeah.
We have a inferiority complex in Cleveland.
That's why we all wear
about-
shirts that say Cleveland on it all
right,
the time.
like more than anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's like people in this area have more pride in their home area than anywhere else I've ever been, and I love it. But we do, in the same vein, we have an inferiority complex, and we always think players want to go somewhere else. And so I guess if he says he really wants to be here, even though it may not necessarily be true, I'm not saying it's not.
Right.
But you feel good about that. When
Yeah.
you feel like the player is happy to
Well,
be
I've
here, it
never
makes you
seen
feel
though a
better.
player at an introductory news conference say, "I got to start by saying I do not want to be here."
This place is a dump.
Yeah,
Well, this
I
one-
need to go somewhere. I was thinking about Detroit.
The one nice thing though is
Detroit.
the one nice thing is where he is coming from, because he's like, I just came from Utah. You guys have a movie theater here. I'm excited.
We can listen to music?
I can listen to music. We're allowed to dance here.
Can I get?
We're allowed to
Can I
dance
get
in this
Grubhub here?
Exactly.
I really wanted to go to Detroit.
Hey, man, listen.
I mean, he's coming from Utah. You
I'm
guys.
gonna keep it real,
He has
bro.
been partying.
When you're rich and you can eat what you want and you can have all the girls you want and you can be just the guy, drive everything you want. I could spend money in Seattle, I could spend money in Cleveland, I could spend money in South Beach, and there's a thing called the off season where I could just not even live here. People be
Right.
making way too much of it. Rich people don't have locations. They have destinations. I live here. I live in Miami, I got a house there. I live in Texas, I got one there. And I live in California.
Although for basketball, G, the worst weather is when they're playing anyway.
You playing every other day anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It ain't like you got time
They're
off.
off in the
trips to
summer,
Miami and
and
Dallas
Cleveland's a
and
great
Phoenix.
place to live in the summer.
Listen,
so.
listen. If I'm Donovan Mitchell, my press conference is going something along the lines of this. I'm proud to be here. This is a great young core group of guys. This organization has been legendary in the past few years. I see them building something, and I just want to be that missing piece that takes them over the top. I really enjoy the support that I got, the warm welcome from the fans. Everybody's seen me tweet out the picture of me in my Cavs jersey, so it's always been in my mind that I could play for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah. And I'm just here to do everything I can to help this organization bring a ring to the city.
Now,
that's a man who's spoken in press conferences.
No, I got to follow up because the Cleveland media is trash. They'll do this. Now, Donovan, I have a question for you. Obviously, Darius Garland is already here. Who do you think is the real leader in the locker room?
That's not fair. I don't think they're going to say that.
You'll wait till the first week.
He would say something. You would answer that with somewhere along the line of, this has been Darius Garland's team, and I'm not here to change whose team it is. I think both of us work well with each other. I'm just here to be that missing piece that's trying to take us over the top. It doesn't matter to me who's the leader of this team. I think all of us are leaders in ourselves, and as long as we keep each other and hold each other accountable, then that's all that really matters, because we need to bring the best out of each other each time we on that court.
Tyvus just won the press conference.
Tyvus Powell, public relations.
He won the press conference.
1-800.
There you go, Chris. We get the jersey right now.
Hey, Deshaun Watson, if you need a consultant,
stop listening to the
people. The nail that you hit was, I want to see enthusiasm for joining this young team.
Yes, absolutely.
And the other thing I would love to hear him say is, as a guy who's been in this league, it's been fun to watch what's gone on here post LeBron James in Cleveland. They're building something. Every time we came into Cleveland or they came to Utah, we knew that we were going to have to put our best foot forward in order to come out with the win. I want him to buy in to what's going on, to this process, the youth, the excitement, and the enthusiasm.
Lie to us.
If he say something like that, I'm going to be like, didn't I tell y'all?
Isn't the whole team speaking today, not just...
No, it's not Media Day. It's just Media Day's next week.
Oh, right, okay.
Introductory news conference.
The 26th.
Donovan Mitchell,
basketball's right around the corner.
It's unbelievable how close it is. I know.
Add this, you got Donovan Mitchell, add this. This is my tip, too. Just to win us over even a little bit more and just be like, I didn't know that you also had the most beautiful women in the world here. I just got here and just coming from the airport. Holy cats.
And always
smoke show here.
Add in the things that we eat. So you just say corned beef, then you say Mitchell's ice cream, and then you throw in something.
Melt, maybe?
Yeah, melt or pierogies. And then guess what?
Good.
Yep, you're good. And polka music's not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe say Michigan sucks?
There it is.
Yeah. That team up north sucks.
The team up north,
He does that, he gets extra credit points.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you on this. I'm focused less on what he says today than how he fits in with this team early on. I want to see him in a leadership role. And your fake question is going to be a question
that's the real question
that pops up once they start playing.
Yeah, that's the real
question. Okay, so
question.
whose team is this? Because that's the media loves that. Whose team is this?
Who's taking the last shot?
Well, it's Cleveland's team.
Yeah, but we don't need to. That's not a
Cleveland's
Cleveland thing.
No, it's not a Cleveland thing. But at some point, it becomes a media thing. Okay, they've got a lot of young burgeoning stars here. Who's the leader? Who's the sun? And who are the planets?
The catalyst.
And we'll be watching that. We'll be watching that.
Because on the court, everyone believes that in 3-4 years, Evan Mobley will be the best player in the team. But you got a young ball handler point guard who is ball dominant here, who just blew up and he's a sensation, and Darius Garland is an all-star. But now you got a guy who's a top 15 player who has won a lot of games, been to the Western Conference Finals.
Maybe I'm kidding myself, G, but I feel like these guys, it's a very unselfish team.
It is.
And I think Darius realizes when they went to those playing games, he was like, I needed somebody else that could score.
Sure.
And this guy can score.
Well,
and I think, and Donovan Mitchell's saying, I've gone to the playoffs a lot, but we haven't won squat. I need better guys around me.
Yeah.
And now he's got it. So I think the guys will have a good attitude. They're young. They seem to be all unselfish players. I'm not worried about that at all. There'll be some growing pains in the beginning of the year,
I think the chemistry experiment that I'm going to be most fascinated to watch is he's been ball dominant because he's had to.
Yeah.
So we don't know what he's going to look like.
Both of them, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't know what he's going to look like in an offense where he has options.
Right.
So I think,
and take some time.
Did the teeth to the gear mesh? Do they come together and move the machine forward? Or do they not fit perfectly together at first.
I think it will, but I don't think we can expect it to be perfect in game one, and it doesn't need to be.
I'm going to at least 10 Cavs games.
Oh, I'm going to a
Oh, it's going to be fun this
It's my
year.
season.
And if Isaac Okoro is not in the corner practicing threes right now, talk the corner three. If you are not in the corner right now, get back in the corner right now.
In all seriousness, he definitely.
Threes and defense. That's all
One
he
job,
needs to
Isaac
do.
Okoro, in the corner. I want to see you until opening day.
All right, let's talk some Guardians here for a little bit, too.
Yes.
We got time.
What did you think of last night?
Well, I thought, the Guardians need some other guys in their bullpen to step up. Like Eli Morgan pitched a good inning the other day, and Kirk McCarty has been he just came up somewhat recently and hasn't been all that good, but he gave them some big innings because, let's face it, the Guardians bullpen is being overtaxed right now.
Yeah.
Their best guys have pitched too much. Clase and Karinchak, I'm not pitching either of them today. No chance I'm pitching Clase today. No. I don't care what the score is.
And it's an afternoon game.
I got to trust other guys today because I got 9 straight games over 8 days starting tomorrow, 5 with the Twins and 4 with the White Sox. 6
and they all count as 2. All of these next
huge.
9 games count as 2.
I could put the Twins away, and I could put the White Sox away in these next 9 days. I got to rest these guys. Clase's pitched 2 days in a row and 4 of 5. He's been a little sharper the last 2.
I think he is off the list today.
But he cannot pitch today. No. They need a break, and they need guys like McCarty, like Enyel De Los Santos, like Eli Morgan, who was great in the first half, to step up and give him some good innings. Because let's face it, right now you've got 3 real starters. That's it. You call up this kid today. It's enough in the playoffs, but it affects your bullpen leading up to the playoffs.
Sure it does.
And so, because Pilkington's not going deep, Morgan's not going deep, Morris is not going deep, and
but
they're calling up a kid today to pitch.
They both did the job. I mean, Pilkington gave up 2 2-run homers. One of them was to Mike Trout, who's been in an unreal zone.
Yeah, finally.
All these guys have done what they've asked them to do, and it's incredible that they have.
Everybody was panicking a week ago. Nobody's hitting. What did I say? It's been up and down all year, and now they've won 7 of 8, 5 in a row, 7 of 8.
Yeah.
They've gotten at least 4 runs in 6 of the 8 games. When they score 4 runs, they're going to win almost all the time.
That home run Oscar Gonzalez hit last night, unreal.
And he has had a really nice season. I feel good.
Had more than a really nice season.
Thinking for a second about next season, I got 6 guys in the lineup I'm happy with. I got 3 pitchers in the rotation I'm happy with. I'm good with the bullpen. They got to spend to get upgrades in at least 2 of their 3 lineup spots that are zeros or close to zeros.
Right.
They need another starting pitcher. I don't think Espino, their best prospect. I don't think he's going to be ready to go beginning of next year. But that's where they got to focus.
To show you the steps they've taken this year, you just said they have 6 guys in the lineup that you're happy with.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year,
I wasn't there.
I had 2.
I had 2. I had 3, but one of them was Franmil Reyes.
I had 2 because I had Reyes.
Well, I'm not even counting Reyes because I did have Reyes, but he's gone.
But 2 of who's here, yes.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's been unbelievable what they've – Frankie Lindor is gone, and his replacement is outperforming him.
I don't know if he still is at this point.
Yeah, he is.
Wow.
He's outperforming him.
Wow. Doesn't matter. He's been great. Rosario's really good. I trust Naylor to be a starter. And I trust Gonzalez. Now, Gonzalez got to prove it, and Quan too, for more than 1 year.
Yep.
We've seen guys have a good rookie season and then go backwards.
Oscar Mercado.
But going into the season, I feel good about 6. Going into next year, I feel good about 6 spots in the lineup, and I haven't felt that way in a while.
Yeah, no,
so that's good.
It's a very solid.
But
team,
I think they're going to the playoffs. I feel really good about where they're at right now. Once you're in the playoffs, listen, they've struggled against a lot of the top teams, and you're going to end up.
They have. Did you see the piece yesterday on MLB.com that said that why the winner of the American League Central could make a deep playoff run?
I did not see that piece.
Read it. It's interesting because they make a case for the White Sox too.
Right.
But I mean, when you look at this Guardians team, and this is what we've talked about, Bieber's Bieber again. 9 straight quality starts.
Yeah. McKenzie and Quantrill
I didn't
really
care who
good.
he was at the beginning of the season because he's not that guy anymore. He is now Shane Bieber, Cy Young caliber.
Back to the guy we saw 2 years ago.
Yes, and as long as you've got 2 guys that are front of the rotation guys, and I think they have that.
They do. And Quantrill, I'm comfortable with him as my 3rd guy. I still got to find a 4th starter. I don't want guys going on short rest. Ideally, that's not good. I think Bieber, with his injury history, McKenzie with his body and his mechanics, I don't think 3 days rest is great. But I do like where they're at, and you figure it out with the 4th starter. But let's get to the playoffs first. And then Blue Jays, Mariners, and Rays are the 3 wild cards.
What are the options for that 4th starter?
It's good. I mean,
best option.
At this moment, I guess it's Plesac. He's ready to go for the playoffs. But right now he's not.
It's not Savali.
You know, yeah, I guess.
I held my breath last night because when the game was over, Tito grabbed McKenzie to celebrate. And he shook him so hard I thought he was going to break his shoulders.
I know. He's so wispy.
He's just like
a wispy guy.
Mr. Salty. You know, he's the skinniest guy I've ever seen.
He reminds me of
Slim Reaper.
Remember, I don't mean to bring up a bad memory, but remember he's still in the big leagues now. But remember the 2016 Cubs had a pitcher named Carl Edwards Jr.
I do.
in pen?
Yeah, that is a bad memory.
That's who Tristan McKenzie looks like.
You're right.
He's just a toothpick.
I know.
He's a guy who's not going to be able to put on weight. That's who he is, and you got to hope he can stay healthy. But you're nervous when a guy's that thin.
Especially
it makes
a guy
you a little
that
nervous.
throws that hard. He's got, I don't want to say he has a violent delivery,
Great
but
talent.
it's
what a
there's
talent
a lot going on.
I love watching him pitch.
Yeah. You want to transition right to final takes, and should we let Bull start or finish?
No, we'll let Bull start. No, don't take it out. We got someone at the end, a little surprise for you guys at the end. But
okay.
Yeah, let's do final takes. Let's get Bull's final take, special tag board pulled up.
Don't put up the picture yet until I tell you.
Well, we got to pull it up, Bull. Just give us a sec. We got you.
Okay. I'll tell you now. As you folks know, I just talked about the fact that the Guardians have 6 guys in the lineup that I'm comfortable with. They've had 3 spots, for the most part, that have been zeros. And 2 of those 3 I've talked about a lot. Austin Hedges. Now, in the last month or 2, I've been like, okay, I can live with Austin Hedges because his controlling of the pitching staff is so important. Now, I think next year you've got to find a better option at catcher. You want to keep either Hedges or Maley as backup, fine. Probably Maley because Hedges is making too much money at this point. But they got to upgrade at that position. And another position they have to upgrade is center field, and that's Myles Straw. Now, I have crushed Myles Straw a million times. I usually like everything the Guardians front office does. I very rarely criticize the Guardians front office, almost never. But I didn't love the Myles Straw signing. Now, because I was never I always thought he was a 4th outfielder.
He's been hot again.
Yeah, and well, for a couple of days, yes. But overall, in the course of a season, I don't think he's ever consistently be good. However, let's take this tag board. Can we have it now? So this is my transactions from my fantasy baseball team. It's a little hard to see. My team name is Free Agent. That's the name of my team, Free Agent. Jay, can you see what move my team made? The last transaction on that board. Can you read it? Who did I add there? The last one.
Added Myles Straw for $0.
Why?
I added Myles Straw to my.
I can't believe you did that.
Now
he's been hot.
Not because he's hot. It's really so we're down to the final 3 weeks of fantasy baseball. Okay, I'm in a battle. The top 6 teams win money, but the top 3 win like good money.
Yeah.
So I have no chance for the top 2. Those guys are way ahead. But I'm battling 2 other guys for the 3rd spot.
Okay.
So I'm in the money, but I want the good money.
I hope Myles Straw wins it for you.
And here's the thing. So now it's to the point where in fantasy baseball, it's all about categories.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm in an interesting battle for stolen bases. So the one thing Myles Straw is good at is stolen bases. So I picked him up.
He's good at defense, too.
That doesn't count. That doesn't help me for fantasy.
Right, but
he is good at defense. I agree with you, but it doesn't help me for fantasy. So on Mondays and Thursdays, not every team plays, and the Guardians have a lot of games left. So he's going to be a guy I'm going to put in my lineup on Mondays and Thursdays.
Wow. To
hopefully get a couple of stolen bases, even if he doesn't help me anywhere else.
I love the strategy.
There you go, Myles Straw.
As
much as I've crushed him, I picked him up on my fantasy team.
My sincere hope is that he makes a ton of money for you, gets you into the 3.
Yes,
and then
I will
you're a
tell
Myles
you.
Straw fan for life.
I will tell you if that happens.
Yeah, please.
I will
keep
be
us
honest
updated.
about it.
Oh, it's
Tyvus, you're shell shocked right now.
Yeah.
Too much baseball talk.
Couldn't believe that Myles Straw was still available on waivers. Probably. That's why he's still overcome.
He should have been the first pick in the draft. All right, my final take today is just it's a shout out to my mother. It's been a while since I seen her, which is crazy. You know, you grow up all your life, and my mother was like my best friend. And now that I got older and I moved to Columbus, I don't really get to see her, and we don't chat as much. And I started thinking about, I don't know why yesterday, I just started thinking about my mother and thinking about just all the lessons that she's taught me and how it's groomed me to be the man that I am today, which, you know, for a single mom, it's hard to raise a man, but for somehow, some way, she did do it. And a couple of things that I thought about was that, and it actually ties into how I'm living my life now. One thing, your parents teach you a ton of lessons, but the one lesson that always stuck with me is my mother always said, Tyvus, if you're going to do something, you do it all the way. You all in on it. You don't half-butt it. You just do it, right? So it made me think about my New Year's resolution this year, and I explained to everybody that my New Year's resolution was to focus on the things that I have and not worry about the things that I don't have. Give my all to everything that I have. So when all these other things that happen in life, I'm not worried about that. Right now, like presently, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. That's all that's on my mind. And that thought, that theory that she taught me at such a young age has really helped me this year, and it's led to other opportunities that I never thought that I would have. But I don't think it would have ever happened if I didn't listen to my mother. So always listen to your parents, respect your parents, because they love you and they want to see you succeed in life, and they're giving you the game plan. You just have to do it. So thank you, Mom, and I love you.
What's your mom's name?
Robin Powell, but she just got married, so it's Robin Mulberry.
That's a good name. Good new name.
Robin Mulberry. That's awesome.
Shout out Robin.
Love you, Mom.
So don't listen to your parents if you have terrible parents, by the way. That's possible. Just
That's true.
Right.
You have really awful
Don't
parents.
always listen to your
If they're
parents.
terrible people,
Yeah,
don't
just
listen
it's
to them.
probably not a good idea. So just across the board. So everyone's complaining about too many people listening to their terrible parents and taking lessons.
That's true.
So too many people complain. A lot of people complaining about the brownie elf situation at the that we got on the field now, and it's really I don't care personally about that elf being there. I don't care about that. I don't care about uniforms in particular or anything like that. I understand it though, and I get the history of it. But the whole thing where you're acting like the elf, it's not intimidating because it's an elf. Like we're not going to scare anybody because of our mascot. Okay. First of all, it is not a brownie, which is a specific kind of magical being. Just to be clear, it is an elf. It's known as Brownie the Elf. Now it is a brownie-looking creature. It doesn't matter. The point is, elves can be evil, and they can be very intimidating. There are evil elves, and in fact, as with fairies, elves eventually developed a reputation for pranks and mischief, and strange daily occurrences were attributed to them. Okay. So terrible revenge on any human who offends them. That's something that they got into with their magical abilities. They may steal babies, cattle, milk, or bread, and enchant and hold young men in a spell for years to come. So they can be pretty wicked creatures. And just to make you feel even a little bit more, if you really need to feel more masculine about your logo and your mascot, there are 6 teams in the NFL that have definitively less masculine or intimidating mascots than we do. So feel better about that, and I have them listed here. First of all, I'm already disqualifying the bird teams, even though I do think I think we're more intimidating than birds, magical elves, right?
I don't know about a raven. A raven's pretty
exactly,
badass.
that's the thing. That's where I got caught up too.
But a cardinal?
I'm
Eagles
giving
can
them
be badass.
so-
An eagle could be badass too. And a cardinal's weak.
I'm not
though.
afraid of a Seahawk, though.
Nah.
By the way. I'm really not. Ravens are cool because they are a wicked bird and they're Edgar Allan Poe based, so that's kind of like scary,
Yeah.
and I get that. And cardinals are pretty mean too, and they eat their young, from what I understand. But still, I'm gonna say all the bird teams are. I'll give you the bird teams. Okay, but here are the ones that we are definitely, our mascot is still mainly. The Steelers, that's just like a mill worker. That's an intimidating logo.
At all.
That goes for the same with the Packers. That now they're not even steel workers, they're people who like pack things.
Two men in the truck.
Exactly. Great. You guys are movers. That's a terrible, I'm not
The
intimidated by
Milwaukee
that.
Movers.
I'm not intimidated by the 49ers because I'm not scared of an old-timey prospector looking for gold. Like, oh, where's the gold? I don't care about that. I'm not scared of that guy. I'm not scared of a Charger because it's just like a little lightning bolt thing. I don't care about that. I'm not scared of a Texan.
Till he
That's
hits
just
you.
a place that you live.
I'm actually scared
you're
of Texans.
All right, well, I can see that. Well, yeah.
Texas Chainsaw.
That might be a personal thing. I'm not as scared of Texans. I'm not scared of every Texan. There are Texans I'm afraid of, but I know there are Texans that I'm not afraid of at all, just so you know. And then finally, obviously, I'm not afraid of a dolphin. The dolphin is by far the least intimidating. They're adorable. They squeak. You can pay to ride along next to them in a little pool.
Can't they
and
kill
stuff
sharks
like that.
though? Once I heard that about a dolphin, I'm like,
Dolphin
whoa.
can kill a
A
shark?
dolphin? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What if
that's
it
a fact.
chokes on it or something?
No,
They're so strong and
They
powerful. They
swarm
just
and
ram
beat
it.
them to death.
Yeah, they
with their
pound them to
beaks.
death.
Wow. All right. Well, never mind. Now I'm scared of dolphins. But what I'm saying is there are several less intimidating logos and mascots. So everybody get over it, you manly men. You'll be just fine with your little elf dancing in the middle of the
What
field.
about the Saints?
Yeah, I thought about
mean-
that. No, here's why. St.
Okay.
Michael actually slew Lucifer in a battle. A saint is an angel, can be an angel. Saint Michael is an angel,
He's
and
a
he killed the devil.
Yeah, but when I think of saints, I think of
most of them, yes.
Heavenly, kind, not threatening.
I don't know.
Right.
I just think of the New Orleans football team.
Yeah. Okay. And they're intimidating in their own right. They used to be, anyways. You know.
All right,
so,
G-Bush.
All right, that was really good. I liked that.
I loved it.
That was great. I'm just going to tell you about the great post-game show that we have on coming up every single Sunday. Now,
final take for promo.
Here's the reason you should do it. You know, I actually work at a radio station, and these guys work at television stations. The great thing about the internet is this. You don't get instant reaction. You just can't. You can't buy it. See, if I wanted to come on and do a show, I would have to have commercial breaks. I would have to have press conferences. I would have to wait for people to come to the podium. And we would have to do all that pomp and circumstance. And then for the first 10 to 15 minutes, we would banter amongst each other and talk about things that had nothing to do with the game. You wouldn't even get to your call until 45 minutes into the first hour of the post-game show. It's the new internet. We not only going to give it to you quickly, we give it to you and we watch the game with you at the 2-minute warning. The Browns could be losing and you can see us freak out like we were freaking out last game. The Browns could be winning after kicking a long field goal. You can see us be jubilant and over the top excited just like you are. And then we get your comments. We put them on the screen. We comment. We talk to you guys. That is why this is the best post game in the streets. And we do it every single game. So, we had 1,900 people in the stream last week. I think we get 2,500. People didn't even really know about it like that. I think we could get 2,500 at the same time. My goal is 10,000 people at all times. And if you call today, we give you a free set of Ginsu knives. Ginsu knives and the Ray-Bans.
Are they still selling the Ginsu knives?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're not going to get any Ginsu knives. But you can get your comments on the 2-minute warning post-game show.
We react to
them. That's all we're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Act before midnight tonight.
We have it. You guys want to, Tyvis, you didn't see it on Sunday? You want to see real quick, 20
yes.
seconds?
Yeah, let's show it.
Let's take the shot.
Here comes the snap. The kick is up. I can't
Jeff
see
Floyd
it.
can't see
I think
his
it's
TV.
good. I think it's good. It's good. He made the kick. He made the kick. 10 yards, baby. Baker, you suck, Baker. 10 yards made the kick. Good draft pick. Jay. Hey, congrats to Jay. He finally got something right. It was a good pick by Cade York.
Jeff Floyd, he spoiled it for Jeff Floyd. Because Jeff's TV was like 15 seconds behind.
Jeff was like,
same thing for Mike. He was behind too.
Mike was behind. And you know what I said yesterday? If 2 of the 4 people on the chat's TVs were behind, likely half of the people that were watching the chat were also behind, and they found out from you that the Browns won.
10 minutes later, the chat goes crazy. Oh my God, we're like, 15 minutes in.
Can we give a quick shout out to Casual Sunday Mike with his glasses on too? What was that about?
By the way, in total, over 19,000 people have watched that postgame show.
That's beautiful.
And speaking of a little promotion, I appreciate that. Anthony, get in position. These are going to be handed out at the Muni lot and every bar in the Cleveland, West 9th, West 6th area. Well, Leroy Tim, the official UCSS poster. So
nice.
How many of those got printed up?
I'm going to guess 10,000. And that's a complete guess with absolutely no research done whatsoever.
And I got to tell you, I think that's legitimate. This is a real show, guys.
I mean, the hosts of the show don't even get mentioned on it, but it's still cool.
That's all good. They ain't trying to see your face.
No, actually, the important people, I guess.
That's all we need. X me off.
Man.
That's fantastic.
I don't need 2 minutes anymore, Jay. That's all you.
All right, I thought you were going to kind of go where I was going for my final take when you started talking about the fans have voted. This is proof why trying to gauge an entire population's base opinion on something off of the internet is a really dumb thing to do. I used to say it was a dangerous thing to do, but it's a dumb thing to do. And here's a perfect example of it. When the Browns decided they were going to change their uniforms, they changed them, and then they released them to the fans, and all you heard about was how awful they were, and they sucked, and it was terrible. And the team really took that one on the chin. And they kind of fell on their sword and said, we'll fix it. So this time around, when they were about to make a subtle change for some, Mike doesn't think it's a big deal, others do. when they decided they were going to change the way their field looked on their home stadium, they wisely said, no matter what we do, we're going to get killed for it. No matter what we do. Because the vocal minority is going to take over the conversation, and everybody suddenly is going to say, everybody hates it. So they wisely said, we'll let you decide. So they came up with a variety of options, and they put it in your hands. And you spoke, and you overwhelmingly decided that the best field for the Browns at First Energy was Brownie the Elf on the big center logo, Browns in each end zone flanked by the AFC logo and the Browns helmet.
Love it.
You spoke it. That's the majority decision.
Democracy.
Democracy. You would think by reading the internet that the vote was rigged. It was rigged. It was rigged.
Where have we heard that before?
Because all we heard yesterday on our
same
Channel
guys, too.
3 Facebook page when we put out there, what do you think of the new field? Everybody hates it. Everybody. It was universal. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Why do you have an elf in the middle of the field? That's not intimidating. You decided. The people decided. Hundreds of thousands of votes were cast. I thought it was really genius for the Browns to do it this way. Include the fan base. Perhaps they learned from their friends over at Progressive Field who decided that they were going to make a major change to the franchise. And they weren't going to ask anybody about it. And now they're averaging 14,000 fans a game. Let the fans talk. Let them speak. And once they do, that's what the majority believes, and that's what we have to go with as a fan base. But be careful of reading the vocal minority and thinking that they become everyone. Dangerous and dumb.
And that was sponsored by Sam Crow. We take a vote at the table.
That's exactly right.
You think that was bad? You should have seen South Carolina's when they were trying to change the mascot's name.
What happened?
It was Cock Commanders was the word. Like the look at this.
Theo, baby. By the way, I ran into Malcolm.
It looks nothing like that.
Tuck in your shirt as high as you can and strike
By the
up
way,
hard.
I ran into Malcolm Jamal Warner at a pizzeria across from the studio where they filmed the Cosby Show.
You are always
years ago.
name dropping.
Now,
Me?
Nuggets, can you tell me that did I overtake Tyvus? Did I come back and get it at the end?
So we had
No.
over 700 votes on this. It was 52-48 for G. Bush. The only thing is the vocal majority in the chat were like, don't let G. Bush win. So G. Bush, the people are trying to hold you
All right,
down,
let's
bro.
just grab this back.
No, you know what? G. Bush, when it comes to anything YouTube related, he's the king. He's the king. They
I
said
love
yesterday
y'all.
that his
I love
headline
y'all.
was better than mine, and his headline was absolute trash. It was trash.
They have chosen me, adorned me as their spokesperson, and I thank you.
All I know is shout out to the guy who put my picture with Diddy, Tupac, and The Rock. Just all.
It was a good tweet.
Popular figures. You know, if I'm in the same conversation with them, then I'm already.
And by the way,
we're over.
We're over. Yeah, we're talking to nobody right now. So
okay,
Yeah.
goodbye.
we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
Shout out
We're
to
talking
Tyvus. He
nobody
did his
right
thing,
now.
though, man. He did his thing, though.
Watch out for that elf stealing Baker. He does steal babies.